You can't come in his authority. His authority is only by his rules and regulations. If you just say his name and you break every one of his laws, you just know his name. It's like singing the ABCs, and then your parents tell him, he knows ABC, sing your ABC, and say, now point out a D to me. He don't know what a D is, so he just knows the song. So when you're talking about his name, give me Psalm 138, 1 and 2. There's something in here that David explains about the titles of the Most High, because he said, in that day, in Zephaniah, I'm going to turn to you the pure language and tell you what my name is, my holy name, that you won't be able to profane anymore. Even like if we do the J and you go back to the 1400, what letter was it that got us through out of Jerusalem? What letter of the alphabet, when we profaned his name, when we were in Jerusalem, what letter was it? Because the J didn't come to 1400s. So what letter was it that threw us out of Jerusalem? In our own land, running our own household, priests reigning, Navy, Air Force, and angels. What letter caused us to get thrown out? Sin. Huh? It was sin. So we understand that. So from that perspective, but give me Psalm 138, 1 and 2. Y'all, and this is just something that when you understand his name is the word of God, same as Revelation 19, Revelation 5 and 5, we're talking about the Messiah. We know what the Father's name is. We can call him the Ancient of Days, but ain't nobody seen his face yet but the Son, so we don't even know what his true name yet is until you can see his face. Right now we got titles for the Father: the Almighty, the Ancient of Days, everlasting, the creator of the universe and everything that exists in it. Those are titles. But when it comes down to seeing the face of who's orchestrating everything, we don't know his name yet. He said, in that day, you're going to see my face. All the questions that you have, y'all, that's the only outstanding question just left for Judgment Day. How we know God exists if ain't nobody seen it? Why? Because of what he say, how it exists. The invisible things are clearly seen through its actions. You don't see the wind, but you know exactly what the wind does. So y'all, with titles, give me that 138, 1 and 2, what it say?
The book of Psalms, chapter 138, verse 1. I will praise thee with my whole heart.
With my what?
With my whole heart.
Uh-huh.
Before the gods will I sing praise unto thee.
See, so the first thing is to praise with your whole heart. That means knowing him when there's a time you may not even be able to speak his name. And you got to know it up here. You got to know it in your heart. Anybody that's deaf or can't speak, don't get off the hook because you have a physical ailment, an out-of-cup ailment, because that can be cured. But in your mind, the first heart that moves from here to this heart, and then it pumps what this thinks, it pumps that blood through that heart, that secondary heart of flesh.
That's right.
So we want to get that understood clearly. What we talking about down here, y'all, there's an order of Melchizedek that we're currently presiding under as priests. And then there's the order of Aaron that decreased and technically faded away when the Messiah took over, when he gave his life, when he laid down his life. That order moved to schoolmaster. If you are dictating the law to anybody and Aaron is still reigning supreme over Melchizedek like this, you're out of what?
Order.
You got to bring the right orders back.
That's right.
The prophecies of the prophets prophesied future things. They prophesied Aaron at the current time, and then most of them would do they prophesied Melchizedek. So that some of the scripts we're going to hit today in what we call the waters of separation. we're going to clear all that up, but let us get back to this verse 1.
In verse 2.
Verse 2, okay.
It reads, I will worship toward thy holy temple.
So that's what we did today when we turned toward the east, because we're in the West Country. Ain't got nothing to do with turning toward Mecca and looking at a cobblestone, a wailing wall, and none of that. All of that's idolatry. There's no temple in Jerusalem that we're looking toward. We're looking from where New Jerusalem will set down at. That's why we look that way. We just happen to be in the West. David did it before the temple was ever set up. When they carried the Ark of the Covenant, he prayed toward wherever the tabernacle was that housed the law of the Most High. That was our mascot. That's what we took to battle, was his name. So war had to be done correctly. There was killing rules. It was the Geneva Convention, so to speak, before what they come up with about war. Go ahead, bro.
I will worship toward thy holy temple and praise thy name for thy loving kindness and for thy truth. For thou hast magnified thy word above all thy names.
So there's a word that's magnified above all the names. So what two are we talking about? What name that word magnifies above? See, so he started off, I will worship thy in the truth with my whole heart. So before any name come out, you have to believe that this is the truth of God.
That's right.
Or you just take wickedness to the land of God. They ready for short leggers class? What, 11 under? See Uncle Duell.
Hey, young in heart.
Young in heart and can understand. Yeah, some of them read right now, they can work computer. I'm talking about be swiping and going. All right, short leggers. So y'all, with that understanding from the name, we ask, what's the difference between those two? What is being magnified above any name you could call him in this dying flesh? And it's that name that he's going to show us that's written in his thigh that we're going to get to in this lesson. We're going to get to that understanding of what to look for. But first, because we are an ambassador of him, we come in his name as a representative, like a lawyer do for you. He speaks for you. He go to court for you. And we know we got good practice there with the traffic lawyers. You go to court for me? What they do? Did they drop the warrant? No, you got to bring me another $100, and then they gonna drop the warrant. I'll go back in there and I will speak for you. I will be you. So in like manner, this word gives us authority when he said, go forth, and this power take with you. That we're going to get some understanding on today too, so that we don't profane his holy name.
That's right.
Because many shall come in my name saying, I'm Hamashiach, and shall deceive many.
Right.
Farrakhan say Elijah Muhammad was Hamashiach. Born in Sandersville, Georgia, on tape saying that. Many, Hulan Mitchell, Benjamin Carter, all of them ain't fitting the prophecy. You must fit the prophecies 100%, or a little leaven and do what?
Leaven the whole lump.
Can't be 99.9999999. Gotta be 100. When you're talking about P-U-R-E. Did I answer that question? Any questions though further?
Sits in the back.
But we don't, any, like I say, any name that anybody may have a problem with, we just take it back to Jerusalem while we get kicked out and wasn't no jail. That's all we're saying. Go ahead, sis. Is any sins what?
Any sin different from the 7 deadly sins?
From the seven, yeah, I mean, there's on the low end, 613 that some say are counted, but with all the prophecy, statutes, and judgment, that could be 813.
What is good with
But there's some in there that's death automatically. If you touch a child, it had been better that you had not been born. Judas Iscariot, it had been better that he had not been born than to betray the Son of Man. So they go straight to perdition. So those are felons. Then you got misdemeanors. You got turtle dove sins, and this is why under the order of Melchizedek is so conscious on it that if we still under Aaron, we go by the letter, you'll take a bullock, or as long as you got sacrifices, you will be headed over to Brooklyn with a fistful of dollars and a rack of turtle doves in the trunk. Right now, sheep and goat and lamb and oxen would be extinct if we were still under that order, having to sacrifice with all the sins we commit. Your children, you have to be pointing to them, baby, that's an ox. We used to sacrifice those. But we'll run out of them. If it weren't for the Messiah, we'll be short right now. Any more questions before we get into this lesson topic at hand? Anybody? Okay. Hey, sir. How you doing? All right. So y'all gonna go ahead and get started. What we're dealing with today is called waters of separation. Both Old and New Testament taught by the priests of Aaron and moved to a different understanding or a higher priestly level to the order of Melchizedek was the same order that was given to Adam in the Garden of Eden, who was a Melchizedek priest all the way up to Jacob coming out of Egypt.
That's right.
Was Melchizedek priest. Abel knew what to sacrifice. Noah knew clean and unclean to get him on the ark. Sodom and Gomorrah incinerated because of what laws before Mount Sinai? How was his two daughters judged, and we get Moab and Ammon before Mount Sinai?
Yeah.
What laws?
Cain broke the law, committed murder.
Cain committed murder. On what laws?
Exactly.
Melchizedek, that priest and king.
Yeah.
Up until we come out of Egypt, we switched to Aaron, and as soon as the Messiah was crucified and gave up the crow, gave up the goat, the veil rent in half. Well, you can look back where the high priest used to go back there. We're gonna read a little bit of that. At that point, Aaron moved to decreased position. Not saying it's done away with in a sense that you look at it like it's something that ain't to be looked at. That's the difference in the Christianity doctrine. They say it ain't no more. But how do I know what coveted mean except it was the law?
Exactly.
How do I know what lust is except the law teach me? So without it, how you gonna say somebody even sinning? Because sin is transgression of the what? The law. Can't have it both ways. That's his name. The law. And if you represent him, you're going to be doing the law.
That's right.
If not, you're going to be representing somebody else. You just look like you represent the Father. But your father may be of the devil like the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Y'all, so with that, we're going to move on forward, get some understanding of this. And what we're talking about is waters of separation. What cleansed us back then, how that priesthood ran to the priesthood today because of the topic of Numbers 19. If a man touch a dead body, this understanding, because this spiritual book is a book about health and how to go to the doctor and doctor on yourself. Tells you how to get healed of your sickness. And the main thing is stop doing what? Sinning. That's the first step to heal. The doctor, when you go to him, he don't ask you right then, your foot green. Oh, I got some green remover right here. No, they ask you, how long has it been green? Well, I first noticed it about 2 months ago. Well, before that, what? And you get back to the beginning of it. Like he said, you have to start at the beginning to deal with any issue to bring cure to a sickness.
Straight up.
If you don't start at the beginning, you're only going to get treatment. And y'all know how treatment is. Go back in there and get my pills. I done left my pills. We got to get this in our heart, or you're going to be hollering, go back and get this. I done left this. This device at the end of your right hand, the tree of good and evil. Pull up anything on her. All of the names of the Messiah in Hebrew. Big black. When ain't nobody looking. Whatever you desire is right there. So y'all, let's get it. Exodus 40.
Was that 40?
Yeah. 40th chapter. Y'all, we're going to set this up because of Numbers 19, y'all, dealing with contamination, or what we call cross-contamination. If I touch a dead body, does that cross-contaminate to me? And can I give it to somebody else? And how do I get washed clean of that? We're going to show how it was done under the order of Aaron, and then we're going to show Melchizedek, because there's a lot of issues with this coming up around the Passover time. Or one going to a grave site. Or if we're reading some of these scriptures about dead, then there can't be no funeral home. At least nobody working on the dead, because they can never be clean. When do they get to take off? You would have to have a rotation. You work on the body, wait 3 days and get clean, and then wait the other 4 days, and then you can come back and work on the body and get unclean again. But what's going to happen if dead bodies don't get embalmed and taken care of? What we going to have? You're going to have disease and pestilence.
Yeah. Blasting the mildew.
So y'all, we have to look at it from the four corners. If you say, no, you can't, you have to be what's called perfect. I understand this from every angle, from every priesthood, and I can answer it from every decision you may ask, because ain't nothing here uncommon to man that ain't already happened. We just have technology. But guess what? We don't have the technology they had in the garden. We don't have the technology. Somebody say, them prophets, boy, if they saw an airplane today, are you kidding? An airplane, what about an IFO? An identifiable flying object.
Right.
That's described in Ezekiel.
Right.
That's described in Jasher chapter 3 and chapter 4 when it took Enoch away.
Or then about the angels that went up and down through the heavens.
Yeah.
That's technology, right?
That's technology.
This is great.
That's what they're trying to get to.
Yeah, yeah.
Fast as you at now, Russia just built a rocket, not a plane. A rocket that does Mach 22. Mach is 600 miles per hour. That's sound. Mach is sound. It's only 600 miles an hour times 22. That's the fastest they can do with a rocket. That's not a plane. But an identifiable flying object, the chariot of the Lord. You can't clock its speed. It's the speed of light. And they done already told you when you measure the speed of light, it's 187,000 miles a second. So when you get to the light, you'd have been a whole day. And ain't no man been a whole day, but the man who was already there before the whole day. And that's the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. They was there before day one. They were in on creating day one. He's the first creation of everything, of all the Father's creations. First in line, then the angels, then mankind, then beasts, or however it goes. Sun, moon, stars, but everything after that. Exodus 40 and 12.
40 and 12.
Yes. Y'all got any questions, y'all? This Bible study, y'all. And like I said, we do what's called reproof and correction. And if we're reproof, we accept correction down here. Ain't nobody too big, because Matthew 23, he said, y'all brother. I'm y'all master. I'm y'all teacher. I'm y'all rabbi. I'm y'all reverend. I'm all of that. Y'all brother.
Straight up. That's right.
Brother Daniel, Brother Boaz, Brother Yaqui, Brother Al Ben Israel, brothers and sisters. And I know most of y'all name Mordecai, Tobias.
That
Bro.
boy.
I just bet you, bro. Where we at? Let's get it.
We're in the book of Exodus, chapter 40, starting at verse 12.
Yes, sir.
And it reads, "And thou shalt bring Aaron and his sons unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and wash them with water."
So we can see the washing of the chosen high priest. Understand this, Aaron was a high priest. Moses was a priest of the Lord that moved between Melchizedek and Aaron, priesthood. But Aaron could only go into the Holy of Holies, him and his sons, Eleazar and the rest of them down that line. Moses then was priest. But when we're talking about high priests, one father and his sons. Let's read some more.
Verse 13. "And thou shalt put upon Aaron the holy garment."
The what?
The holy garment. "And anoint him, and sanctify him, that he may minister unto me in the priest office.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt bring his sons, and clothe them with coats. And thou shalt anoint them, as thou didst anoint their father, that they may minister unto me in the priest office."
Is that they may minister me into the what?
In the priest office.
Okay.
"For their anointing shall surely be an everlasting priesthood throughout their generations."
See, and throughout their generations. Because it's already written that there's going to come another high priest that's going to supersede this. Y'all just get Israel back on point. We've been in Egypt for 400 years. And Egypt is just like America because America copied off of Egypt. So everything we doing here as Israelites finding our way, we was doing the same thing in Egypt. Same type of deal. Egypt got 380 gods. What you think we was doing? Moses was raised as an Egyptian. Moses' name, if you got a problem, Moses' name is named by who? Instead of a white man, he was named by a black man or a black woman of the seed of Ham. Moses, offspring of Mizraim. Go ahead.
Moses is an Egyptian name.
Moses is an Egyptian name.
The Hebrews called him Shema.
Moses had
Moses
several
is
names.
actually, he had, but like his name that when he got named by his sister, that was an Egyptian name. So Moses, when we say Moses or AKA Moshe, we actually saying the Egyptian name. We speak, we actually speak in the Phoenician language. We call him Shema in Israel.
That's right. When you get into Jasher, what is it, 63? You'll see he had 8 names.
Yep.
Just like the Messiah had many titles. His sister called him Jared. His father called him this. His grandfather called him. All Israel called Moses Shemaiah in Israel. So if you're talking about, you know, man, bro was at the burning bush. If I said, who you speaking of? Shemaiah? What? Who? Right. So if you say Jesus Christ is a white man's name, Moses is a black man's name. Because we were slaves to black people. We hated black people like sisters hate a brother with a white woman. They hated him with an African woman. Look at him with that old black B. I can't stand it. I hope that baby black is charcoal. It's just a different chapter now. We had the same thought, y'all. Yeah, he think because he an Egyptian, he's something special. Same thing, y'all. What you got back here, G?
Moses' wife Egyptian?
Yeah, no, she was, well, she was out of that line. The poor.
She was Hamite.
Yeah, but she wasn't of the tribe. She from Midian, so she's the offspring of Abraham's second wife. His third wife, technically, Keturah. She had children that fathered the Midianites. So technically, when you're looking at it, it's Hebrew, but it's not Hebrew Israelite. Like Esau is Hebrew, but they're not Hebrew Israelites. They're
Edomites.
Hebrew Edomites. Ishmael is Hebrew Ishmaelites. But the promise went through Jacob and his 12 sons, because ain't no deathbed confession from Esau to his 12 tribes. Ain't no deathbed confession about Ishmael and his 12 sons. Just like the 3 got off the ark and established the landmass, the 3 sons of Abraham established the promises and the covenants that's given out and play out prophecy in those lands of the original 3 boys. But Japheth, Ham, and Shem, ain't nobody in their native land, so to speak, and been there since the dawn of time, since getting off the boat. If that's the case, then those Edomites in Israel are the Jews, because they in the land. So we got to know a difference from the prophecy speak of landmass prophecy versus people prophecy.
That's right.
If he's saying Magog, because Caucasians are in the land of Russia right now, Gog or Magog or Chinese, they wasn't there when they got off the boat. They just conquered those lands. So now the prophecy about the land of that individual in this land, if America's the daughter of Babylon, why ain't it sitting on Asia? Ain't that what the original Babylon is? But you call this the daughter of Babylon.
Spiritual Babylon.
So, yeah, we ain't gonna belabor that, but we'll move on. Where you at on that?
That's verse 15.
That's good. Go ahead down to 16.
Verse 16.
Yeah.
Thus did Moses, according to all that the Most High commanded him, so did he.
So Moses did all that the Lord commanded him. And you know what we understand down here, like I say, we're full messianics. And the birth of the Messiah, the conception of the Messiah by the Holy Spirit, not by Joseph. Joseph was a father that took over, but his conception, his pregnancy, her pregnancy, I should say, an angel was sent to discuss the pregnancy, not how children are made, but who got this woman pregnant. Now, you're not going to have an angel come to you and you already know I did it. No, the conversation is, who's that baby's dad? Because I'm about to put her away privately. I can't vouch for her. We got Numbers 5 on the table. How about the waters of separation come into this picture? Read some more. Where we at?
Verse 16.
Yeah, you finished that.
Yeah.
Jump right down to verse 30 and through 32. And then we're going to get right into the Messiah side of this under the order of Melchizedek. And y'all, the only reason we're saying is everything you examine is like Matthew 5:32. Except your righteousness exceed the righteousness of the Pharisees, you have no part in the kingdom. You have a kingdom of Pharisees. And when you have a kingdom of Pharisees, they make up laws. All white people gonna be dead. Every nation gonna be dead. Then if that's the case, who gonna be your slaves but you?
Right.
So what you gonna do? Put a title of another nation and be the nursing king and you Israel? It don't make sense, y'all. Go ahead, where we at?
We're in the book of Exodus, chapter 40 and verse 30. And he set the laver between the tent of the congregation and the altar, and put water there to wash withal. And Moses and Aaron and his sons washed their hands and their feet thereat, when they went into the tent of the congregation, and when they came near unto the altar, they washed, as the Most High commanded Moses.
So there was commandment washing that the priest had to do to make sure they don't cross-contaminate. Every doctor, when he come in the room, he's by law has to wash his hands every room he come into. He can't bring what I was in there touching on their leg and their green foot, and then come in there and ain't washed his hands. If you saw somebody dig in their nose and then reach for the bread, what you gonna do?
Oh.
I'm like, he went up to the last knuckle on that. And reaching for bread. See, they don't even do that in them foreign countries. You get caught stealing, they cut off your right hand. Because everybody passed the food with the right hand. You wipe your rear end with the left hand. So when they cut your right hand off, you have to sit at the table over there with the left hand. You ain't gonna pass bread and wipe with the same hand at this table. Let's move on. Go ahead, bro. Where you at?
Verse 32.
What did it say?
I read it.
Okay, go ahead.
You want me to give it to you again?
No, that's good. Okay, no, go on. Let's see.
30 to 32.
Yeah, that's good. That's all we need. So that was just a watch. Now give me John 13. And we're going to see as the priesthood is switching to Melchizedek, or when John the Baptist said, I must decrease, who his father was a Levite, and John the Baptist was a Levitical prophet. He said, I should decrease, but he's going to increase, whose shoes I'm not worthy to tie up the shoestring. The Lamb of Yah.
John 13 what?
John chapter 13, we're going to start by verse 3. I'll start at 1. Okay.
Close enough too.
Might as well. Y'all got any questions while we're going on? Like I say, y'all, we put the understanding out there. We understand how we teach everything established by two witnesses that paint the same picture. Y'all, we have to do that in this study. One witness can make anything its truth. Yep. Okay. But when you're playing by the established rules, everything, that's why he sent them out 2 by 2 or at 3. If one speak in tongues, by how many? 2, and let one interpret.
Yeah.
Prophecies by 2. It's got to always be somebody to say yay. When establishments take place.
So one person can't sentence nobody to death.
No. Have to be 2. And look, when it's 2, it has to be according to the rule. Like the woman brought in adultery before the Messiah, tempting him, Master. We caught her in the very act. What say you? The law say put bricks on her head. What you say? He bent down, started writing in the dirt the name of the man. Because the law say you have to kill both of them. Where he at? If you caught him in the act, where he at? He like this. Uh-oh. That's my name in that dirt.
Even on the confession, you have to say it and write it, so they'll have 2 witnesses.
So they have 2 witnesses. Even you tell on yourself. A verbal confession and a handwritten confession. Yeah, Leroy Jackson, I'm the one robbed the Piggly Wiggly. And then he said on tape, yeah, Leroy Jackson, I robbed the Piggly Wiggly. 2 witnesses, but it's at least 2 witnesses. When you marry, you're one witness. They can't make the wife testify. How they get her to testify? So a picture of him at the club with his arm wrapped around that woman like this, whispering naughty nothings.
And she volunteers.
Now she volunteers information. Y'all looking for the dope in that safe in the baby's room, in the closet. Black mother. So this him, huh? He told me he was going out doing the work. Where we at?
John chapter 13, verse 1.
What it say?
Now before the feast of Passover, when Yahushua knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end.
So this is the whole object of the waters of separation. You got to learn how, y'all, before we do anything, love the Father with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. That's what he showed us. And that's what he's getting ready to do right here and switch on. Y'all, we wasting our time if we don't love our brethren, but we have to love our brethren of the faith. Believe in Hamashiach. If those non-messianics don't believe in the Son, if they don't experience a road to Damascus, they are dead men walking. You can't pray for them. You can't do nothing for them until they believe, because their choices are sinners. Maybe it's Hezekiah. Maybe it's King Solomon, or King Solomon, not King Solomon who worshiped Molech. Maybe it's Zerubbabel. Well, how about we get some Sirach 49 and see if it's Zerubbabel? How about this person? How about that? It's going to come down to one and only one that was born in Bethlehem of Judea. Where we at?
Verse 2. And supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him.
So y'all don't get it twisted. You mad because somebody around you breaking laws or whatever look like this or that? The Messiah had Judas Iscariot right there. So what we complaining about? Who you mad at? Go ahead.
Yahushua, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he was come from Yahweh, he went to Yahweh. He riseth from supper, and laid aside his garments, and took a towel, and girded himself. After that, he poured water into a basin, and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel wherewith he was girded.
Now this the Messiah. This Elohim, part of the Godhead, the let us make man, washing his disciples' feet. And we mad at brethren because they hit the last corner. Man, the last of the, why you don't put a swallow back in there? Go ahead, bro.
Then cometh he to Simon Peter, and Peter saith unto him, Lord, dost thou wash my feet? Yahushua answered and said unto him, what I do thou knowest not now, but thou shalt know hereafter. Peter saith unto him, thou shalt never wash my feet. Yahushua answered him, if I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me.
See, so Peter had a lot of zeal without knowledge. It's the same thing he said, I wish them Romans would touch you. Now, what you gonna do? You sinking when you walking on water. Messiah stop a storm, feed 5,000, and you talking about what you gonna do with a sword. Like he needs your help. Huh? What? Go ahead. He was a soldier, absolutely, but his fire was boiling the broth out, so to speak. He had to kindle his fire. Because Satan had him thinking this was about physical war first. I'm not saying it ain't physical. I'm just saying he put physical first. And them ain't the rules under Melchizedek. Go ahead. Where we at?
Verse 9. Simon Peter said unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. Yahushua said unto him, he that is washed needeth not save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit, and ye are clean, but not all.
So, see, even though the washing is not a ritual type of deal, it's still supernatural because Judas Iscariot got his feet washed. But his mental was not from that perspective of I was born to sell him out, but from the fact that he needs to end this drama with these Romans right now.
That's right.
And if I go pay them off, he may get off. Just like people try to rush the Father off the throne. You can't make the end of the world when it ain't announced it's going to be the end of the world. Somebody just says the end of the world, April the 23rd. Where the Antichrist at? When the saints going to get woe out? Right. How we getting wore out and we watching the championship game? And ordering wings. All of that has to take place before the end of the world. And they already put a date on it. This is what Judas Iscariot was trying to do. Force his hand. I'll pay him off and they'll come get him and he gonna destroy him and we gonna have the kingdom right now. It ain't sounding too good. I'm hearing 2 more days and it's sounding like days of the Lord. As 1,000 years is to man, is 1 day to the Lord. That's the way it's sounding. And I know I can't live 1,000 years. Lord need to handle this business right now. Go sell him out. Force his hand. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 11. For he knew who should betray him. Therefore said he, ye are not all clean.
That's why we talk about baptism. We do water baptism. But we have to deal with Acts 19. There's a double baptism in there.
That's right.
When he asked, who were you baptized by? By John Baptist. Oh, you, the baptism of repentance. But we don't know nothing about the Holy Spirit. The baptism of the holy fire.
Straight up.
That comes on you and make you prophesy or speak in tongues. We ain't heard about that. He then took them and laid his hands on them. But this ain't nothing different than Moses laying his hand on Joshua and transferred the spirit. Same thing in Deuteronomy 34, ain't it? Moses laid his hands on and Joshua received. It ain't no different law. It's just different priests running the law.
That's right. That's right.
It's like you have laws, but you bring in a new captain of the police to do what? To make these laws work like these what? These laws over here, we're going to have to keep sacrificing bulls and goats. These set of laws over here, you sacrifice up here. I don't care. You can put on all the fringes in the world. If this right here ain't regulating right or something on your mind, it's going to show on your face.
Straight up.
I'm being tormented by my conscience. And good don't make you torment and look like that.
That's right.
Good have a different countenance look when you done that, and that's on your mind. You just don't want to tell nobody about it. Why you always smiling, dog? You gonna find out. But something else on your mind, lips ashy. All about Tyrone Biggins about her, just ashy. What's wrong, dog? That dream, oh, your conscience. Living in your conscience for 8 hours last night, huh? Got you troubled.
Vexation.
When you woke up in the flesh now. Vexation, huh?
Yeah.
See it all over your face. You ain't got to say nothing. Let's read.
Verse 12.
What it say?
So after he had washed their feet, he had taken his garment and was set down again. He said unto them, know ye what I have done to you? Ye call me master and Lord, and ye say, well, for so I am.
Read that again.
Verse 13, ye call me master and Lord, and ye say, well, for so I am.
See, that's again Matthew 23:8. I'm master. Y'all do well by calling me that. Calling me the chief teacher. Not out of New York, triple high priest this and the general high priest that, and the actual Holy Spirit in the flesh that's now on trial for tax evasion.
Holy Spirit, huh, bro?
Go ahead.
Verse 14, if I then, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet.
And y'all have to understand the father of hospitality, Abraham, that's why I keep going back to him. The father of hospitality. Broke bread with the Messiah in Genesis 18. Who you think that was he discussing? The angels went on. But this the captain of the host. The angel of the Lord, the same one that was in the burning bush, the same one that Joshua bowed to. The captain of the host of the army of the Lord. Who is this giving permission and being bowed to in the Old Testament?
Yeah.
It ain't the Father.
He ain't left his throne.
You think the Father gonna get off and take a whooping by Romans? Peter would have handled that business. The Father give orders,
Right.
and maintains his throne. We his representatives, ain't we?
Yeah,
When the prophet speak, thus saith the Lord.
Ambassadors of Christ.
Go ahead.
For I have given you an example, that ye should do as I have done to you. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him.
Y'all see that? Neither he is greater than the one that sent him. So the Messiah always stayed in check. Never went against his Father or tried to exalt himself, what Lucifer did. Hold that, y'all. So I just wanted y'all to see that part of the washing when we was transitioning from Aaron to Melchizedek. And Peter like, wash my whole body. So we do water baptism down here, but we explain Acts 19 thoroughly too. Thief on the cross didn't have no water baptism. There's certain things we have to ask that. It say we are all baptized when we went through the Red Sea, but the script say it's like we went through on dry ground. Who got wet?
Nobody got wet.
So is baptism right? The Egyptians got wet. Very good question. Very good, brother. Y'all, he said the Egyptians got wet though.
Right.
Real wet.
Soaking wet.
So y'all, we want to always get it from north, south, east, and west that water baptism is not the only form of baptism. John the Baptist was baptized while the Messiah was in his mother's womb. And John the Baptist was in his mother's womb. The Messiah baptized John the Baptist. When his mother said, he leaped in my womb, when the presence of the mother of the Lord entered here, he leaping in my womb. What's going on here? At the salutation. So John was hit from the womb with spiritual birth, supernatural baptism. In the womb, kicking like a mule from just the voice of her who walked through the door. Now, if she had to walk through that door and been pregnant by infallible flesh, that baby wouldn't have been kicking like that. We got a question. Go ahead, brother.
I have a friend that is in the word is messianic, believes in the Father and Son. She backslid, and she believes that she should be rebaptized.
Right. Well, like I said, we don't prevent. We look at Acts 8 as well. So, you know, with Philip and the eunuch. So we look at all of the things. If she wants to be baptized, but she has to understand, even that conversation, the first words are, do you believe?
Yeah.
If you don't, you're just gonna come up a wet sinner.
She had God, she had everything perfect in the name of she.
Right.
And she backslid, and she wants to be redeemed.
Right. But see, so we have to be careful that we don't fall into the same condemnation of Hebrews 6 chapter.
Exactly.
Once you done taste this good grace, we don't want to play Russian roulette with it. Oh, I get another chance, because we can't put them back on the cross.
Nope.
No more. The sacrifice was once, so now you got to be about the rules. These rules apply with liberty, and they give you grace a time to get it right. But you can't go back under Aaron and think you're going to. You're going back into the old priesthood with water. If you saying, I just need to wash it away, and then I need the Holy Spirit to come on me, but she has to believe fully. Even if she believed and didn't get done, she still has to believe from that perspective, so the Holy Spirit gonna come over you. Because if that's the case, we got John 4:4. The Messiah never baptized but his disciples. Paul say, I never baptized but two families I can think of, Stephen and the house of Stephanus and Gaius. Them, anybody else, I can't remember who I baptized. The Lord didn't send me to baptize, but to preach the gospel. That's my first order. Then if that needs to happen, at least you know why you're going under the water. If you don't understand that, you're going to be like Nicodemus. You must be born of water. You must be born again. You got to come out of my mother's womb again. He's like, it's going to be a long day. And you're a master of this race. And you actually think your head big as O.J. Simpson's, you can come back out of your mama again. You're a master in this race. No, you must be born of spirit and water.
That's right.
And then Nicodemus got it because they were the one that wrapped him up. And that's one of the verse I want to get to when we talk about Numbers 19 about the dead. These priests were still under, well, it had shifted Melchizedek, but they're the ones that wrapped the Messiah up. They're touching the dead body. They're anointing him. So, y'all, and laid him in his grave. So all of Numbers 19 gonna have to be answered with all of this taking place. And we're gonna get to a couple of them before we run out of time. Let's get it. Where we at? Did I answer your question, brother? Look, we water baptized. As long as they believe that the Holy Spirit reigns supreme, it's fire baptism reigns supreme over water baptism. As long as that's understood clearly, like Aaron and Melchizedek. You got to understand which is right here and which stays right here.
So she had the proper understanding that it would be okay for her to be reimbursed.
Yeah, no problem. Exactly. I got a brother Haji Go Lightly out of ATL. Shouts out Haji. They're gonna do some baptismal talking about it in Memphis next week. So by no means, shape, or form, we just want you to make sure you understand Melchizedek. Because if you're standing at the throne with Aaron on, there's going to be a problem with you on Judgment Day.
Yeah.
You got on high priest clothes. You got on Exodus 40.
Right.
You ain't got on Ephesians 6:9.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't know you.
So it ain't the water that's baptizing you, because your mind has to be washed in sin. So
yes, sir.
The baptism is the change of becoming a new creature, the change of mindset. That's the baptism.
Yes, sir.
You don't need water for that, but it is it is part of our culture. So if you want to get dipped and you believe that your mind has already changed before you get dipped, then of course. But if you just doing that to feel better, then you might as well go to Sunday church.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What you saying back there, Obed?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, sir, we do. To break it all down. Go ahead. Where we at? Let's speed it up a little bit, y'all.
Where you want next?
Okay, so y'all, next we're going right to down we hit that. Let's go to 1 Peter. First Peter 2, 5 through 12. And y'all, and then we're gonna hit the order. We know about Deuteronomy 7 and 6. But now our holy people. This same people now is a different under Melchizedek, your royal priesthood. Same laws, different titles. You walk up to me talking about you high priest, I'm like, under what order? Straight up. What order? 1 Corinthians 12, 28, we get into say, here's the order of the administration. First apostles. Then this, then this, then this. I ain't seen general, lieutenant, triple high priest, quadruple high priest, / captain. I ain't seen none of that in that listing of the hierarchy of the Messiah's assembly. It ain't in there. Will you keep going back to kindergarten? How you look 18, ready for high school, sitting in kindergarten with a beard and one of them little seats like this? And teacher asks, who knows where it did? You looking like, me? You cheating off a 5-year-old? That's what happened when you try to make the righteousness of the Pharisees enter into the kingdom of the Most High. It ain't gonna happen. Go ahead, where we at?
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 5.
Yes, sir. 5 through 12.
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 5.
Hold on, y'all. We'll wait on y'all. If y'all ain't caught up, we have to read together. Anybody got any questions or concerns so far? And y'all, what we're talking about is once you love the Father with your whole heart, mind, and soul, and that means believing in the scriptures as they are written. As they are written, not as they are added unto, as they are written. And then love your brother according to how it's written, because that's what the Messiah showed us. I'm gonna show y'all how to love each other. Straight up. Apparently y'all don't know how to do this. Well, where y'all been? In Egypt. They don't know how to love their brother. Their laws are to kill a poor man. Spiritually, then physically. Let's read it. Where we at?
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 5.
What it say?
Ye also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Yahweh by Jesus Christ.
Yes, sir. So we're a spiritual house, lively stones, a holy priesthood. So now we're moving into how we become priests to deal with dead bodies, to deal with washing, to deal with cross-contamination. Now we those priests, like Moses and his sons were priests, but they wasn't high priests. Aaron and his sons were. Let's read.
Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone,
Right.
elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded.
Yes, sir.
Unto you therefore, which believe, he is precious. But unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner, and a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed.
So being disobedient at the word makes you stumble. You just don't stumble because you don't understand. When you're disobedient, you trip and fall. Usually when you're walking fast away from a crime, you trip and fall. Scary movie, certain people fall all the time. Where we at?
Verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation.
What are we?
A chosen generation.
See, when we ended that 40 about the priesthood, it said throughout their generation, Aaron and his son, through their generations till it come to the cutoff point. It has to come to the cutoff point in their generation. Now we're in this royal priesthood, the order of Melchizedek, how we are now priests. We have to conduct ourselves accordingly to the washing rituals. Spiritual, though, like this is talking about. If you don't get it up here, wearing and dunking and doing that don't mean nothing.
It's all vain at that point.
Just got fringes on for what?
Out of club.
No, dog. 100% clean. Nigga, don't eat no pork around here, dog. Hold on. Yeah, let me get a number 2. Yeah, the Big Mama burger. Yeah. Don't put no bacon on it. Okay, $5.95. You pull around to the window and see them cooking your burger next to the bacon burger on the same grill.
In the same grease.
In the same grease. And you got fringes on and you talking about this, and y'all, this is what we're saying. You have to be always conscious and careful of what you're doing. If you eat fast food, you ain't 100% pork free.
Right.
Not at all.
Because they don't bring out no special grill. People in the house, people in the house. People in the house when they come running with a grill. People in the house, what's your order, please? When they put your pizza in that oven, it's gonna be in there with that pepperoni special. But y'all, we're gonna get into some Mark 16 so we can understand that ain't no food out here clean for us. And bro, you know, we talk a lot about the veggie and the beef, how ain't none of it clean. E. coli is on a rampage right now. And you can't see it. All you do is eat it, and the next thing you know, if you don't make it in time, your underwear look like a rack of pool balls in it. With E. coli.
They've been recalling all food, man. They even recalling all vegetables too.
Yeah.
Even vegetables been getting recalled. Romaine just got recalled for it. It ain't even been a month.
Yo,
Romaine
E. coli ain't no joke. It rips and tears at the intestine.
Yeah.
That right there, that bathroom that close from here, E. coli, it's gonna be trouble. It's trouble when you bag the seat out. It's already too late. Let's get on. Where we at?
Verse 9.
What it say?
But ye are a chosen generation,
Right?
a royal priesthood,
What kind of
a
priesthood?
royal priesthood,
Uh-huh.
and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness
Right.
into his marvelous light.
See, so we have to show forth that praise of that we're out of the darkness into this marvelous light, y'all. If we don't understand that from that perspective, a holy nation, y'all, a peculiar people, we still peculiar to this day. Deuteronomy 28 don't care because you get a little money in your pocket.
Right.
Basketball players, football players, lawyers get that same gun to their back of their head. Get on the ground. I don't care who you are. Michael who? Michael nigga. Oh, get on the ground. All throughout the news now, y'all see the 65-year-old grandmother getting handled.
I couldn't even watch
down
it,
in
man.
Atlanta.
I couldn't even watch it, man.
Now look, he come and he ain't even in the, he looking, he thinking this a young Hebrew, he ready to get busy. And he look in the car and see it's an old woman, he get mad. And she said, no, I need a supervisor. F you. You get out of that car now. You ain't running up, snatching on her arm. And look, the first report was written up that she assaulted the police with her car door.
Y'all seen the way she handled that Israelite?
I mean, when you look at that though, but I'm just saying, to be handled like that for a car door.
That's crazy, man.
Never touched them with the door, but that's what they was gonna write up till the other one flipped out. He wanted blood so bad.
And let you know though, Dan, elders, youngins, infants.
No regard for the young or old, bro.
No, that's scripture, man.
In 2018, it's so we won't forget about Deuteronomy 28. Right now, they done gave you a Hamite president for 8 years. We done forgot who we are.
Yeah. Right? That's right.
That's a shame.
So he had to give us back Deuteronomy 28 in this generation so we don't forget who we are. And when you see that, you be like, my God, they don't care. It's the young or old. And I mean, he's snatching on her arm and yo, these are one of those times if you was there.
Yeah, I would have got shot down. I would have got shot down.
Yeah, it'd have been awful rough at that point, the way he did. And they suspended him without pay and told him, look, you better resign because the wolves is out.
You heard what he was saying while he was snatching it up. Stop resisting.
Stop resisting.
He ain't doing nothing to you, man.
Right.
Now, I wish I was like that when he was doing it. I put my hands on him.
Yeah. It'd have been more trouble behind it, but yeah, at that point, they what the script called, they are extending the affliction.
Yeah.
They had laws on how to treat us, but they get to the point they hate us so bad because they look at us like, how dare y'all treat the covenant like that? If it was us, we wouldn't do the Lord like that. Y'all come from Esau. If you're talking about it from a doctrinal perspective, the wild olive branch can't never boast against the natural branch. Keep it where it needs to be. We'll just move on after that. Go ahead.
Verse 10.
What it say?
Which in times past were not a people,
Right.
but are now the people of Yahweh, which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy.
Because see, you got caught back then, wasn't no mercy. Did what? Rock time.
Right.
You do a false prophecy like they doing them boys out of New York, talking about they on the roof at 2000 waiting for it to count down and thought the Messiah was coming to you today. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At that point, that prophet should have been killed because they're rocking from the order of Aaron. If you're going to play by them rules, it should have been judged by them rules. But they sneak back into Melchizedek and give him mercy. And then lie and say, well, it's like Jonah. The Lord knew he wasn't going to come back on that day. He just spared him. See, that's why all y'all get coming in. And they do what, right, so they do what's called a clapping amen. Instead of saying amen, they start clapping and telling you to cut along. Ain't the Lord good for delaying that prophecy? Ain't the Lord good that he did? And you like, yeah, the Lord is good, the Lord is good. Delaying prophecy, then how you going to ever have a false prophet?
Right.
Who can ever be a false prophet with them rules? And they march down from off the roof. Shame and still looking for an excuse. The same way with Benedict Carter going over there when he said Demona gonna have Israel in 7 years. 7 years in a day he was supposed to be dead.
Yep, shut up.
Then 14 years passed. Then 21 years passed. Then he on a B1 visa status. You on welfare now, the Messiah? Let's read some more.
Verse 11. Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts.
Right.
Which war against the soul.
That's what war against the spiritual. Fleshly lust gonna wear your soul out. Let's get some more.
Having your conversation honest among the Gentiles, that whereas they speak against you as evildoers, they may by your good works, which they shall behold, glorify Yahweh in the day of visitation.
So right here, that's a responsibility on us to walk amongst the Gentiles circumspect. You got on friends, how you gonna let them see you clown? How you got on friends and hanging out the passenger window out front around? That's right, whipping up Cardi B.
Sound like what we doing in Egypt, right? That's what we doing in Egypt.
Rose up to play in Egypt while Moses was up getting the law.
And our friends.
In our friends. Lord saying, wait a minute. I heard some song and dance. Moses, Lord, they shouting your name. They hollering for you, Lord. They hype. He like, no. That's for the wrong station. I don't know that song.
That's a different type of dance.
That sounds like some stanky leg in it. Dollars flying up in the air. Moses knew at that point, he like, Lord, kill me, don't get them. He like, nope. That ain't the way the rules work. You can't die for the people, Moses. You wasn't the chosen one for that mission. Messiah for this mission, but not the mission that's prophesied from Genesis 3:16. You're not the one. Remember you wrote about it in Deuteronomy 18. Where we at? Okay, let's get right to it. Hit that 1 Corinthians 12:28 for me, y'all. Then we're going to get into this Numbers 19, y'all, because we're running out of time, and I want to hurry up and tie this up before we get out of here. 1 Corinthians 12, we're going to start off 28. And y'all, because look, we see the Messiah washing them, bringing them in the priesthood like Aaron washed, Moses washed, coming into the priesthood of Exodus 40. We see the Messiah washing the disciples, bringing them into the priesthood of brotherly love. Look, y'all, if we're going to start off living with each other for 1,000 years, how if right now in this congregation you see somebody walk through the door, you be like, oh, here you go. 1,000 years with that? Man, what's up with the Messiah, man? I ain't gonna let him in there.
You want to rechange what you said to the worldwide audience. You said Genesis 3:16. You meant John 3:16.
No.
Genesis 3:16 about the second coming where Moses was trying to take.
No. I'm talking about the seed that should come.
The seed that should come.
Of the woman and the serpent.
Genesis 3.
Oh, I thought you said, okay, I'm sorry.
I'm glad we get clear. Amen.
I'm sorry.
Look, and y'all, that's good because she's thinking right. John 3:16, for he so loved the world. But you're talking about the finished product here on earth. Well, part of the finished product because the second coming got to happen. But you were talking about that hitting the earth at that time. Yeah, you're on point there, but you started in the middle. We're going back to the beginning. Yeah. Very good, sis. Ain't no problem. Let's get it.
Reading in the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 12, starting at verse 28.
What it say?
And it,
Y'all haul it out.
we'll tarry for our brethren.
That's right.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 28. And Yah hath set some in the church, first apostles.
What? First who?
Apostles.
See, apostles, can we be apostles? We know the original 12. But an apostle is, when you look up every definition, it's almost an experience dealing with the Most High or the Son supernatural.
Yep.
Paul on the road to Damascus. You know, and you're looking at the 12 disciples. These are now disciples that elevated their game to preternatural, so to speak. They're not supernatural yet until 1 Corinthians 15:51, when we all change. But preternatural, fleshly body that's going to die with supernatural qualities, able to do miracles. Preternatural. Look it up. It'll tell you outside the norm, almost supernatural, but not quite. Where we at?
Secondarily, prophets. Thirdly, teachers.
We number 3 on the list.
Straight up.
Teachers. I mean, could we covet to be a prophet, or you got to get prepared for that?
Yes, you do.
You think you talking tough? You got to be like Jeremiah was. He like, boy, you see the foreheads on me? He said, go up there and tell them what?
I said, don't be afraid of them looks and what they do to you.
Your forehead gonna look harder than theirs. You scowl more when you woke up.
Hey, Dan. This lets you know, though, Israelites that don't want to hear the truth, they'll kill you. He said, don't be afraid of their looks or what they'll do to you.
What they'll do.
Remember when Christ was walking and teaching, what they everywhere he went, they was picking up stones to do what? They was trying to bring the Messiah.
He slide on.
Yeah.
Like, boy, this people crazy. See, Solomon asked for that same wisdom in 1 Kings 4th chapter that exceeded the great wise men that wrote Psalm 89 and 90. Those were wise men. They had one boy named Dardar, was called the father of wisdom. He was so sharp. And it says Solomon excelled above all because what he said, I need wisdom to deal with this people. I need wisdom. He like, yeah, you know, money can't do nothing about this people. No, cause they don't care nothing about no money. Good looks. They'll pawn the only TV to pay the cable bill. Still ain't watching TV. This people Israel, you need wisdom with this people.
That's the truth, though, boy.
Where we at?
Continuation of verse 28. After that, miracle. Then gifts of healing.
Right.
Helps. Government.
See, gifts of healing. This brother's practicing the gift of healing. Can put some roots and juju beads together and stir it up and off the list, though.
Off the list.
Bro, fix me up another one of them. Go ahead, bro.
Helps. Governments. Diversities of tongue.
Diversity of what?
Of tongue. Are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? are all workers of miracles, have all the gifts of healing, do all speak with tongues, do all interpret.
See, so this kills the Pentecostal doctrine, because they say if you don't speak in tongues, you can't have the Holy Spirit. Well, even in the books that talks about tongues, because this is an instruction manual. 1 Corinthians 14 is the book on tongues. It says, greater is he that prophesied than he that speaketh in tongues. So how is that man-made doctrine going to tell you unless you speak an unknown language that can't nobody interpret? There ain't no interpreters around. And then we done named ourselves after a feast day. I'm Pentecostal. You a feast day. You count 50, huh? Hey, just word 50 so we know what you say. Those are the doctrines of Christianity when they hold this as an accessory. That's all it is. Did we finish that?
No.
Go ahead.
Verse 31.
What did it say?
But covet earnestly the best gift.
Now y'all see that? I mean to cut you off, but we see covet, and we finna see there's a positive side to covet. Yeah, because the law say don't covet thy neighbor's stuff. You can desire your own stuff, but what comes with that? What I'm gonna have to do for this? That means I gotta go to night school. If I want to get a degree in that, I gotta make some sacrifices. But ooh, I wish I had his degree so I could have that job. You don't know what he done been through. You don't know the nights like this in school and on the Roman noodle diet and the mix, and you just want his stuff. This people is ready. Go ahead.
But covet earnestly the best gift.
The what kind of gifts?
The best gift.
See, so we covet gifts, not product.
That's right.
Not Gucci, not product. You covet the gifts earnestly. Y'all, but they there for the taking. But guess what? You can't give none of them back. No, wait a minute. That messing with them demons, that's a little bit too much for me.
You ask for it. Be careful what you ask for.
Right.
Right. Since I've been healing, now these 2 fingers green. No, the Holy Spirit don't put torment on you. Neither does his feast days. That's why his feast days are not about trading gifts and different things. He takes gifts from the nations because they look at you like a royal priesthood. When you set back up on top, you spoil those nations. But amongst ourselves, y'all, we feast and talk about him and have a good time. Feasting for 7 days.
Right.
See, y'all, but we got to get back our minds right when we feast that we don't blow it all in one day. You got 6 more days of this.
We gonna be going hard that first day, boy.
First day, if you wake up, they doing what? You had too much fun. Well, we finished that. We good on that.
All right.
So y'all just wanted to establish the difference in the priesthood and the garment. Like we talk about the garment. For y'all don't have a pocket, we're going to put it up on the board. Sirach 45. And I just want to hit this about Aaron because a lot of things, what's going on? Which bathroom?
No, that's not burning. I'm burning sage.
What? Is it bothering you, sis?
I'll put it out if it's
Is
bothering.
it bothering you? Check it out. Okay, cut it off, bro. Yeah.
You know what that sage for now.
No, go ahead, turn it off, y'all. We don't want to cause no problem. Right. Now, I'm just saying, y'all, no matter what it is, I'm talking about, like I say, if it offends, I got to cut it off. And meat makes my brother to offend, I got to cut it off. If she got asthma and it's hitting, y'all, you know, we got to be careful that you can't drive away and cause the problem at the same time.
I'll put it out, Elder.
Yeah, that's good. So, you know, we have to be careful, you know, with that because of all the conditions our bodies are in now. You know, so anything that takes away the concentration, we can't have her doing like this and trying to concentrate too. It ain't gonna work, y'all, but it's a fan back there, right back there against the wall. You need to plug it in and get it circulating. Just get the air moving.
Sirach what?
Sirach chapter 45, y'all. For all y'all don't have, I hate we don't have the projector going, but the bulb must have blew out on the one, and the other one ain't making a connection to the internet. The devil trying to keep us from with these notes on the board, but y'all, we got to make mental notes, and y'all take the notes. Sirach chapter 45, do 6 through 13 in the Apocrypha. And y'all, this is just so that we understand. A lot of times I talk about, you heard me talk about the high priest that will used to go behind the holies of holies. And they will have a rope tied to his leg. And every now and then they'll pull on that rope and hear them bells and see if he's making the sacrifice first for his own sin and then for the people. And when you shake that bell and he kick back, ding, ling, ling, you're like, okay, he's still cool. We handle business. You shake that and ain't no kickback, you pull them on out. Dead at the altar. May have been sacrificed for everybody else's sin, but he want to keep secret. Lord, everything, and I'm for my sins except for last night, and then the sins of, nope. Yep. Hit that for me, Sirach chapter 45.
Reading from the Apocrypha in the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus.
So about verse 6. Y'all, this is just a garment again of Aaron. I meant to do it when I was breaking down Aaron's garment, so you understand how he was dressed versus now how we ought to be dressed. Ephesians 6 and 9. Put on the whole armor of the Most High. Y'all, it's the same thing in Isaiah 55 and 17. He say the same exact thing. The same armor is given, and that tells you what the Messiah got on.
Y'all hold it down.
Oh, y'all, they're getting, okay, no, they're getting in the pocket. What y'all saying? Hey, y'all having a sideboard? What's going on, bro? No. Okay, all right, good, yeah, yes, sir. And y'all, the Apocrypha is part of the Bible. It mentions everything. It just goes into detail. Daniel gets deeper into Esther and Purim. All of Second Ezra, the ending of Esau, the beginning of Jacob, and it talks about the Messiah now. 400 years cut off. My son Jesus, he used the word salvation. He got a crown on his head. He passing out crown. I asked, who is this one called? And this in the Old Testament? It says it's the son. It's the same thing as saying in the book of Enoch, 48th chapter. It's one that was created before everything else. That's the one that's been seen the Father. He the only one been there for. The angels ain't never been past the sixth plane. Lucifer and Michael and them covered the cherub. They covered the mercy seat. But that's not the throne of Yahweh. They looked up there. I want to get up there to that left. Who with me? What about you, the third of y'all? Man, look, we can take him, man. He getting tired. I saw him nod the other day. And they went for a third of them. Gonna be 2/3 of us fall off. Do we replace them 2/3? I mean, that 1/3 that fell off? A lot of studying to go, y'all. A lot to go because it says those angels are a whole number. If a third failed, then that's 2/3. That's a whole number, ain't it? Let's read some more. Where we at?
We're reading in the Apocrypha, in the book of Ecclesiasticus known as Sirach, chapter 45. We're going to start at verse 6. And it reads, He exalted Aaron, an holy man like unto him, even his brother, of the tribe of Levi.
Of the tribe of who?
Of the tribe of Levi.
Right.
An everlasting covenant he made with him, and gave him the priesthood among the people. He beautified him with comely ornaments, and clothed him with a robe of glory.
So right here we see how the high priest is decked out. Same way for Ephesians 6 and 9 on the spiritual side. You got to be decked out on the inside, or you'll fall like Samuel's sons, who started taking bribes decked out. You did what? Last night. One bullock? Shit. You better get out of here with that. You better go get me some money. Can you believe that other priest? This Negro come up in here after last night, bring me one bullock. Taking bribes. Decked out in Hebrew gold. Go ahead.
Verse 8. He put upon him perfect glory and strengthened him with rich garments, with breeches.
With what?
With breeches.
See, these are what we're talking about. These are not pants that everybody teaches. These are drawers, linen drawers. When you break it down in Ezekiel 44:18, it tells you what those are. Those are not pants. Those are priest drawers. They go from the waist to mid-thigh. It describes how they are. Now, if those are pants and men have them on today, it's going to be trouble. Men today with shorts on above your knees, it's going to be problems. Women with shorts on that high is going to be a problem. So it was never pants. They're called breeches. They're linen drawers so that the priests don't sweat.
Yes, sir.
They couldn't sweat. That's why you wear linen in the summertime. Where do you think they're getting it from? So the priests wore them. The first time pants came up was with Chinese. And the women wore pants because they became warriors and riding hard. The first pair of pants was skinny jeans, made for a woman.
Still on?
Them the first set of pants. You can't get no pants before the Chinese made the pair that they made. So we have to be clear when we say that's what that was, and somebody ought not be wearing pants. The law say women should not wear that pertains to man, and man should not wear that pertains to a woman. When you go in the store, it say boy, girl, man, woman. If you over there in the woman's section trying to twist the collar, it ain't gonna make it a man shirt. You in the woman's section. Huh?
If that's the case, then our ancient men were wearing dresses. If you're
gonna look at it that way.
Exactly, right.
Go ahead. What you got? Breeches. Go ahead.
Breeches is H. Question over there, bro.
Okay. Go ahead. Let's read that real quick. Then we get your sister. Go ahead.
Breeches is H 43:7.
What it say?
Underwear.
What?
Underwear. Drawers.
Drawers.
Trousers.
Trousers.
Priestly garment of linen. In the sense of hiding. Drawers from concealing the private parts. Breeches.
So, y'all, we understand what they were, but they were never, men didn't wear pants, the common man. Only the high priest wore them. They had to go into the holies of holies. They couldn't be sweat. You wash and then you start sweating. I don't care if you come from work and hang your pants up every day. After a while, you're going to sit down and you're going to say, wait a minute, it's a smell coming from somewhere. Hanging them up don't just get them clean. Sooner or later, they're going to have to go to the wash, right? You can't keep hanging them up and they press nice.
Can't keep pressing them.
But you can't because let loose a strange insist, don't it? So, y'all, that's what they was designed for, to protect him from that area from going before the Most High. You know, so that's who it was made for. Everybody else had on common cotton. They didn't wear breeches. It says specifically for Aaron and his sons. So y'all, long as we stay there and we stay at home by the scripts, then you don't get caught up in women ain't supposed to wear pants. Women have zippers on the side. They button up on the left side. Men button up on the right side. It's common, is that? Huh? Hips in women's jeans.
She can't wear a warrior.
No, she can't have on no Dickies and no Timberlands standing tough. No, that wasn't how the mother with the 7 sons were when they talk about in the book of Maccabees. She had a manly stomach, but she had her womanly qualities. No, that don't mean she's stomping with the big boys. She got on a pair of Dickies, it's going to be trouble. Where we at? Let's read some more of this.
Bro,
We got a question.
my sister had a question.
Oh, thank you, brother. Sorry, sis. That's that sometimes kicking in, ain't all the time. Go ahead.
First of all, thank you for that scenario. But could it also have meant, because we're now from the priesthood of Melchizedek, could it also symbolize of how men have to keep themselves as keeping themselves holy and righteous before the King, our Lord, without transgressing the law, or like you said before, if they're kept with the garment of holiness, they wouldn't, the priest wouldn't chase after wildfire or after things that don't belong to them. Could it be the inward person on the inside?
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's always inward to know why you got the holy garments on. But if you got them on for any reason, that's what I'm saying. You got to decipher if somebody is talking to you in Aaron or they're talking to you in Melchizedek. If the discussion come up about pants, there is not a document on earth that you can get that's before the Chinese a pair of pants made. It's the only pair they got on the market that's out there in archives. And they were like skinny jeans. Men took them on later. Men were wearing skinny jeans, but it came from women first. So if you're getting your history straight, men actually had on women pants. If you're looking at it from that perspective. But we're not looking at it from that perspective. We're looking at it from the perspective of the priesthood, and these are your garments. Melchizedek has a different garment. His garment is Ephesians 6 and 9, and we're going to get to that. So that you don't mix priesthoods. If you mix priesthoods, it's going to be a problem. You're going to be like Christianity that says we don't have to keep the law, but then they go to Malachi 3:8 to get you to pay tithes, which is a law. So are you saying we don't keep none of the other laws, we only keep the tithing law? Because they scare you with the Old Testament. How is it done away with and is used to get money out of it? As that's a hustle game. So they jumping back into priesthood because we don't know priesthood. The average person you ask about Melchizedek, they think this is some mysterious individual that show up. Hebrews 7 break down who Melchizedek is. Psalm 110 says he will be after the order of Melchizedek, a high priest forever. If Christ is after the order of Melchizedek, who is the order king then? Who giving the orders to Christ? His father. He's the one without father, without mother. The Messiah had a mother and a father, didn't he? He's the first high priest after Melchizedek, and he's going to be the last high priest after the order of Melchizedek. You read in Jasher 16th chapter, you see that Shem was the high priest that met Abraham. That wasn't the Lord. It says that was Shem. Abraham grew up in Shem in Noah's house. Shabbat shalom. So y'all, we want to get that clear. You understand that these priests was moving through. Melchizedek is not some mysterious being. It's just a different order. And who's the high priest? Christ is the high priest. His father is Melchizedek. He's the high priest of shalom and bread breaking and wine drinking, to bring you into a bond of a covenant. This covenant was in the heavens. Because we eat angels' bread, didn't we? Mm-hmm. That's what it symbolizes. Let's get some more. Where we at?
Back in the book of Ecclesiastes.
Good question though. But if we stay where we at, make them prove. Like we tell somebody else, we talk about the virgin birth. Y'all talk about immaculate conception. Make them prove the virgin birth is immaculate conception. It can't be done. Make them prove the Trinity is the three that bear record in 1 John 5. They two different things. The rapture is pre-tribulation. The great gathering written in the scripture is post-tribulation. But they'll make you think that you're talking Christianity because you say the three that bear record. They copy this, but they copy it to one being all of them, not three separate individuals. Like your husband and wife become one flesh, but they what? They two individuals. The body of the church is one body, but we got many members.
What elders say all the time, that's where 1 + 1 equals what?
1 + 1 equals 1.
Yes,
That math, adding and subtraction.
most definitely.
Go ahead, sis. What you got?
Thank you.
Okay. Amen. Let's move on. Let's finish this 45, y'all, because I want to speed it up just a bit. What hour we in? Getting close.
Yeah, we're back in the book.
309.
Okay.
Back in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 45, verse 8.
What it say?
He put upon him perfect glory and strengthened him with rich garments, with breeches, with a long robe and an ephod. And he compassed him with pomegranates and with many golden bells round about.
See, this was at the hem of his skirt. These golden bells I was talking about that he would ring and go behind that holy holy. And you hear him walking. That's the high priest come. The Most High is so merciful. He always give us a warning. You hear them bells coming, you, oh.
Yes, sir.
He walk on by. Yeah. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
And with many golden bells round about, that as he went, there might be a sound.
Right?
And a noise made that might be heard in the temple for a memorial to the children of his people. With an holy garment, with gold and blue silk and purple, the work of the embroiderer, with a breastplate of judgment, and with the Urim and Thummim.
With a breastplate of judgment and Urim and Thummim. So Moses said in Deuteronomy 18, no astrology. But we have to make sure we're well studied on what Urim and Thummim is, or somebody from another God that worships another God will say, that's the same thing.
Exactly.
That looked like a Ouija board to me.
Exactly.
What he doing? Throwing dice? He casting lot?
Yeah. Because they do this, and you'll start seeing when you start really getting deep into the studies, a lot of stuff that was going on in the Bible, if we took that out of the Bible and put it in another book, that's considered as witchcraft.
Yeah.
You see that? So it lets you know that priests were able to do things with certain intentions under certain laws and stipulations according to God's law. But you can take them same things and put them over here in a black book and put a hexagram on it with a star on it, and it's witchcraft. Because the intentions of what you're doing, you're not manifesting God or bringing nobody into the fold of Mashiach. So what are you really doing? Just like it's a good sense and bad sense of the Hebrew language and words, period.
That's right.
Just like you can curse somebody with the same words and bless somebody with your same words.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And y'all know
Thin line.
the one thing that started World War II and opened up supernatural understanding was the divot box.
Mm-hmm.
D-Y or D-I-V-V-O divot box. Y'all look it up. I may have spelled it wrong.
I think you spelled it right.
But Hitler had the divot box, and it was brought to him from Kirksville, Missouri. Guess where it's back at now? Kirksville, Missouri. Then went all the way through Germany and made a full round. But y'all look up the divot box. It's in there, stones, and all of them got Hebrew writing on it. But they use it for a curse to open up the supernatural and give them abilities to make supernatural or the atomic bomb. And that's all Hebrew writing used for wickedness, what bro talking about.
Yeah, and if you look inside the divot box, they actually got the book of Exodus in there in Hebrew. A Bible verse in the actual wicked box to actually stir up and open up dark realms to get low dark form of basically demons, right?
Yeah.
They using the Hebrew verses in the Bible to do that. Letting you know it's a positive and a negative side to Hebrew.
That's right. So y'all, that's all we wanted to do is hit on that last of Aaron, but let's move it on forward, y'all. So we got that clear on order, and we understand that Aaron and Melchizedek. Anybody having an issue with the priesthood of Aaron and when we're talking about Melchizedek? So make it plain. Melchizedek started with Adam. It ended with Jacob coming out of Egypt, and it switched to Aaron at Mount Sinai. It switched back to Melchizedek on Mount Moriah, where the Messiah was slain at.
That's right.
It switched back. So we're practicing how to love your brother. Because if we got 10 complaints, 9 of them about who look just like us. Man, my auntie just won't get it. Man, my brother's so hard-headed, he just want to keep on eating that. They want to keep on doing that. And then out of the one, that police pulled me over and got rough with me. Father gonna deal with him. It's the problem of who look just like us. We can't get this down. If you can't love your brother like the Messiah, like he said, you ain't never seen the Father. How you love somebody you ain't never seen like that? And you got one in front of you and you can't stand them. So now you ready to judge who's gonna be in the kingdom. You ain't gonna get that opportunity to say who get to be in there. Especially if he bring your transgressions up before everybody. You be like, oh, no, he didn't. Some of us got grave sins. I mean, that's where they go to the grave. Deal with them on Judgment Day. Where we at? Oh, I ain't saying that. Okay, y'all, so let's get right to it. The Numbers 19. Y'all, let's understand the difference in the law on Mount Sinai, Exodus 20. Then we got Matthew 5, verse 1. All of it is the Sermon on the Mount. You want to start in that on the Mount of Olives. We're going to start verse 1 of 19 Numbers 19 and 1. And this is what I want to get to, the waters of separation. What separates us? It's not so much just dipping in corn water. Because we know the deal with Elijah and Naaman with the leprosy. He wanted to get in clean water, swimming pool water. You can see the bottom of it. That clean. And the water he was talking about looked like the Mississippi River. He asked, can ain't there more clean rivers than this? Why I got to get in there? You're like, so you want to put leprosy in the clean water where you can see the bottom? Don't you think you ought to leave that in the Mississippi River? You can't see through. You know what's in it. Leave that leprosy there. But then he told me it ain't about the water anyway. It's just the commandment. Do this. If you got faith to believe that, it's still you following the commandments. But when you decide, shalom, y'all. Shalom, family. But when you decide you want to do it your way because you think it's much cleaner, my way. Like the Pharisees washing their hands off like they're a doctor. And their hands is wrapped up in poison every day. Serving the people poison. And you washing your hands for what? I said, get on the camera, get here. So it's like, y'all, this cross-contamination, y'all, we got to get this understood. We can't pass disease to the family. Y'all, we have to understand the cross-contamination. I'm talking about spiritual. If you got the leaven of the Pharisees in you, y'all, we ain't gonna never come together with that. Straight up. You can't come together. You can't agree. One saying, man, can you believe anything? I can believe that's a Messiah. It's Israel, it's us. And we say, man, can you actually believe the most sinning people on planet Earth, they think they the Messiah? Negroes got their own newspaper called The World with a week of crime in it. And you think this Israel, the sin-bearing servant? No, we bear a lot of sin. That's about it. Yeah. Go ahead. Where we at?
Numbers chapter 19, verse 1.
What it say?
And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, this is the ordinance of the law which the Lord hath commanded, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring thee a red heifer without spot, wherein is no blemish, and upon which never came yoke. So if he's telling you a beast can't have a blemish in it, how then does anyone believe that the Messiah was born out of a roll in the hay? Joseph and her turned their birth of the Messiah, it was a BC, a B call, late at night. Those that teach Joseph is the father say Mary stopped off at Joseph's house on her way to Elizabeth and got her a BC.
When that hotline rang. You know what it means. No, that wasn't the case. If this animal couldn't be caught with a, and they looked at this animal for 2 weeks for the one on Passover, they searched it every day for 2 weeks to make sure it wasn't a blemish. And you believe that this Messiah born like us, if his father was Joseph, his physical father was Joseph, he ain't gonna have the same corruption we got.
They let you know, Dan, that's a veil that's been put over their eyes.
Yeah, it's a veil.
If you have any logical sense, think about what he just said. You couldn't even pick a blemished lamb, not one. It couldn't have one little gray hair on it for Passover. You couldn't even have a blemished lamb to eat physically. So you telling me that our master, our Lord and Savior, was actually born out of corruption like that? Come on, man. It don't even, logically, that don't make sense.
Right.
There ain't no
in the refrigerator. Thank you. Look at that left refrigerator. Should be a whole case of them over there.
Grab me one too, little bro.
Let's get it. Very good point, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Go ahead.
Verse 3.
And
ye shall give her unto Eleazar the priest, that he may bring her forth without the camp, and one shall slay her before his face. And Eleazar the priest shall take of her blood with his finger, and sprinkle of her blood directly before the tabernacle of the congregation 7 times. And one shall burn the heifer in his sight, her skin and her flesh and her blood with her dung shall he burn. And the priest shall take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet and cast it into the midst of the burning of the heifer. Then the priest shall wash his clothes.
what shall the priest do?
Wash his clothes. And he shall bathe his flesh in water. And afterward he shall come into the camp, and the priest shall be unclean until the eve.
So y'all think about this. Now y'all understand when the Messiah said, the priests profane the Sabbath and are blameless. Because they're doing this type of work. It may be on the Sabbath. The feast day may fall on the Sabbath, and they got to do the same preparation. It don't stop because where the Passover fall, the priest got a duty. But he's going to be blameless for this unless he's doing something he ain't supposed to be doing while he's doing that. But when the law say you can't do work, the priest may have to do this on the Sabbath day. Holy day may fall on the Sabbath day. Go ahead, bro. Read some more.
Verse 8. And he that burneth her shall wash his clothes in water, and bathe his flesh in water, and shall be unclean until the eve.
So y'all look, that's why most of our feast days started in the evening, right before sundown. Evening and night are two different things. Evening is the second half of the 12 hours of the day. You got the first half from, if we look at the clock and just say 6 a.m. to 12, those are the first 6 hours of the morning. And then you got the evening, the other 6 hours from 12 to 6 p.m. That's the evening. Sundown starts a new day. Evening is that time period that we're right before it gets dark. A lot of times the scripture calls it twilight. Everything copies from the Bible. This nation copies. So if you never had these words, you get to understand what twilight is. We just use it for vainglory. Like when you got your car cleaned up, you can't wait till twilight or the street lights come on so you can turn them park lights on and cruise.
Oh, yeah.
That's twilight. That's right before technically a new day would start. Or your parents told you, be home when the what come on? Or you gonna be out all night? Because sundown starts a new day. What you got back there, G?
What's the difference between twilight and dusk?
Dusk,
Yes.
dawn, you got dawn and dusk, it's the same thing. When you read dusk, it's gonna say twilight. It's the time, allotted time to let you know a new day is supposed to start. You got the evening prayer where you can't take sins into the next day. You before dark, you still conscious and you awake. If you had to do that right before you go to bed, you'd be playing, forgive me for our cousin Leroy out. And I said something about his mama, forgive me. No, in the evening, 6 p.m. or so, you're still consciously up. You want to end those prayers so that you don't take them into the next day. If you argue with your significant and then you lay down mad, you're taking that into the next day. So guess who likes to show up at 12 midnight and 3 a.m. in the morning? They call it devil's hour or the witch's hour. Right. You don't think it's a coincidence? Every time you wake up in the middle of the night, it's 3 o'clock. Right. It's his time of the hour of the prayer to attack you, like we got Acts 1, Acts 3, I'm talking about, and when the Messiah gave up the ghost at the 9th hour of prayer, the most sacred time to pray. All time is good, but there's a time called the hour of prayer. 2 o'clock to 2:59 p.m. our time is the 9th hour of prayer. In the same way, the devil come around them same time, but the Most High say, always make a way for you to escape. If you about to do something in your dreams and you know it ain't right, the phone ring, 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 you get out of the dream, hello, hello, from nobody. Now you can either say I was woke up because what I was doing, or you be like, let me turn this off and get back in there. I need to lay back in there. If you don't think it's true, there's a law for supernatural sexual behavior in Deuteronomy 23:10. Straight up. The man that have a nocturnal emission or a wet dream must do exactly like Leviticus 15. Say, who gonna know? Who gonna know unless it's up here? Who you gonna take? Unless they see you sneaking out somewhere with them like this. Because it's the wrong kind in there. It's stolen. It's stolen seed in there. Now you couldn't supernaturally do that while you work, but you're asleep laying flat on your back and he sent a succubus or an incubus at you. Because they're the lust and the desires while you're in the flesh. And then you go in the supernatural and let it work.
Tempted by your own lust. Huh?
Beyonce. That's Jay-Z's wife. It don't matter because you dreaming.
Straight up.
You're lusting after another man's wife in your sleep. You think that don't count? It don't matter they devil worship, it's still his wife.
Matthew 5. Matthew 5. You would think to lust after another man woman. You already committed the act.
That's what he said in Matthew, 25th chapter. If you think about you already done it, y'all, we on a supernatural plane. If you got to always have this or the Bible in your face to make you do right, it's a problem. You're not graduating.
That's right.
Take the trash out, wash the dishes. Come back next day. Did I tell you I didn't hear you say that. Your mama write it down and put it on the refrigerator. When she come back and smell it, soon as she coming through the door, he took that trash out. And them dishes ain't washing this on. What are you going to tell her when she point to the refrigerator?
Somebody getting their
It's just disobedience at that point. And you know, because you get woke up with a Hot Wheel track like I did. Get that trash out of my house. At 1 o'clock in the morning, with anything on, taking the trash out. But after that one, she ain't got to put no notes up. When she come through the door, it smell like potpourri. Let's get it, y'all. Where we at?
Verse 9.
Yes, sir.
And the man that is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer and lay them up without the camp in a clean place. And it shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel for a water of separation. It is a purification for sin.
So this water from the red heifer, from the pure red heifer, was ground up and put as almost like a potion. Y'all got to understand that this was put up for the sins of the people. We're going to get into a little bit of Numbers 5. We're going to speed this up so y'all understand what the waters of separation were. It's righteous water that could determine if somebody was messing around.
Yeah. Yes.
Thigh was locked.
Yes.
Belly swell. Signs. Men walking like Fred Sanford, the water separation put on. Y'all, and why do y'all think it always separates us from the first sin that happened in the garden? It's the only thing this sinful and adulterous generation. If we don't get this together, you can't love your brother.
Straight up.
You love flesh.
Yep. So.
And flesh rottens away even if you put it in the freezer. You throw away food in the freezer. How does food in the freezer stink? Because it's all going to die like he said.
Corrupt.
Until we get to the point where nothing dies again. Yep. Let's get it. Where we at?
Verse 10. And he that gathers the ashes of the heifer shall wash his clothes and be unclean unto the evening. And it shall be unto the children of Israel and unto the strangers that sojourn among them for a statute forever.
And y'all see this, the same statute for a stranger that dwells amongst us. Y'all, there's strange and then there's a stranger. Strange means when you look it up, it's outside the normality of anything. Cameo had a jam. She's strange.
I like that.
And I like it. Why? A stranger is a proselyte. It's what came out of us with Egypt. It's Ruth. It's Moses' wife. It's Joseph's wife in Egypt. Those who come amongst us and our law becomes theirs. It's war people. That if a man see a woman, he take her home, let her mourn her old thing away. Cut her nails off and cut her hair off. Cut a woman's glory off. Why y'all think nails and hair is the popping thing? Every self-employed woman, nails and hair, that's what she get into of the majority. Brothers do shepherd work. The only deal is instead of the goats, they got lawnmowers now. But the goats would cut grass. That's what David was doing for Nabal, watching his flocks and stuff, all of that, and he want to play crazy, getting free grass cut, so to speak, and protection.
Didn't want to pay that.
Didn't want to pay. No, all they asked was just for something to eat till we get through what we going.
That's it.
He like, man, I ain't heard these Negroes. Who was this? David who? Lamshank. Momo and David. Nigga talking about watching my sheep. I don't know him. David said, okay, you gonna pay for that security one way or the other. Let's get it. Where we at?
Verse 11.
What it say?
He that touches the dead body of any man shall be unclean 7 days.
He that touches the body of a dead man shall be unclean. This is where we're getting to, y'all, what the waters of separation is about. So if you look at this from Aaron, then the funeral homes have to go out of business. All the doctors have to go out of business. They deal with death every day. When you're on life support, you're almost dead. They keeping you basically alive. They basically there's a dead man here just breathing by a machine. Do you care that body's dead like that? Can't hear. They say he can't hear nothing. He through. He flatlined. Look at his brain activity. He can't hear nothing. But they know when you're not beyond that point because they say he can hear. They can hear everything. Boy woke up the other day, heard that's finna donate his kidneys. He like, no, wait a minute, No, I'm back. Put that knife up. You hear in your dreams. Y'all, every dream you hear people on the operator table. When you die, you say, I floated above my body. I saw everything they was doing and it matched perfectly. People that have near-death experience. But it's always, why is always something bad you do that when you have a near-death experience, you say my life flashed before me, but all I see is the stuff worthy to have me to this point right before the judgment seat. I saw when I robbed Miss Jenkins. I saw when I snatched that Halloween candy. I saw, well, that may have been a good thing if you didn't eat it. But I saw all of this. I saw all of this. Yeah, I did. I saw all of this. I saw all of that, but you don't see yourself. I didn't see myself when we was doing the Feast of Tabernacles. I didn't see myself. You don't see the good thing. You see because the wages of sin is what? Yeah. So it's showing you. Now, do you want to go back and get it right? This is not reincarnation because you're coming back as yourself. The Bible don't teach reincarnation, it teach resurrection. Lazarus came out of that tomb. If reincarnation is the deal, the Messiah gonna be somebody else. But when he came back, he said, look at my hand. Put your hand right here. That wasn't nobody else. Let's read some more.
Verse 12.
What it say?
He shall purify himself. He shall purify himself with it on the third day.
Talking about the waters of separation on the third day. So if an undertaker is messing with a dead body on a Monday, Wednesday he's got to purify himself with the water. Go ahead, read some more.
And on the seventh day he shall be clean. But if he purify not himself on the third day, then the seventh day he shall not be clean. Whosoever toucheth the dead body of any man that is dead, and purify not himself, defileth the tabernacle of the Elohim, and that soul shall be cut off from Israel, because the water of separation.
Because the what?
Because the water of separation was not sprinkled upon him. He shall be unclean. His uncleanness is yet upon him.
So we had a deal that where it was so many priests that they would roll out their courses. They had certain courses, like John the Baptist, his father was after the course of Abib. This is why it's mentioned in Matthew 1, so it wants you to understand the time that Messiah was born. If his course is Abib, that runs either December to June or June to December. So you know the time of the birth of the Messiah, because Elizabeth was 6 months pregnant. If Zacharias is in the temple and his month is the 8th course, and it's falling in June, 6 months later is what? December. But that's Mary conceived in December. So when anybody asks you, was he born on December the 25th, you ask them, you talking about conception or live birth? Y'all, ain't no coincidence the devil's holiday, December the 25th, Christmas is on the 25th day of December, and the Feast of Dedication is on the 25th day of Kislev. November and December. Satan gonna always be right there. Y'all want to do that one? Just want to light that menorah for 8 days? Or do you want this? Do you want to do it number 2? Do you want to go to Jared's? Do you want that car out there with the bow on it? Or do you want to light the menorah and give praises? And for 8 days, instead of the 8 days with the lights around your house, because they go from the 24th to January the 2nd. Which lights you gonna do? They both right there on the 20th and 5th day. This is how Satan plays. Every holy day he got right there when he is right next to Easter, Acts 12 and 4. It says Easter. But then the next verse says, and those were the days of unleavened bread. So which Easter is it? Easter meaning Passover or Paschal, or Easter meaning get them bunny rabbits and eggs together. And when do, as the words of Malachi, y'all ever had scrambled bunny eggs? Do bunny lay eggs? Where they come from? Syncretism. We're going to talk about the resurrection, and we're going to add something to it. We're going to add some fun to it. There's no fun. There's nothing for the children to do. Let's read some more.
Verse 14.
What it say?
This is the law. When a man dieth in a tent, all that come into the tent, and all that is in the tent shall be unclean 7 days.
See, we have to be careful about the tent. The tent means any space where there's a dead body at. Now, when we gather people around, you holler, even in the emergency room, y'all better get up here. They saying it ain't gonna be long. Breathe and shallow. Now, when he take, yeah, we actually breath. Yeah, I was in there when he took his last breath, dog. You're in a tent with a dead man. Do we follow these rituals? And who got the water separation from this red heifer? Who got it? Because I'm a need. And then you touching the dead body. No, mama, take me, mama. Hugging the dead body. All that's understanding. They did Jacob like that. Y'all read the 54th chapter of the book of Jasher. They said there ain't never been a funeral like that. all of the 12 tribes had the casket up. Now they got the casket up and marched him to his grave with half of Egypt and all the other nations around. Biggest funeral on planet Earth. Jacob's funeral. Gold casket. Decked out. Yo, it ain't no coincidence these things happen, but you have to understand from a righteous perspective. Let's get some more. Where we at?
Verse 15.
What's that?
And every open vessel which hath no covering bound upon it is unclean.
So if you got anything open when a dead person died, you got that pot of greens still on there and he dropped dead in the living room watching the game? What's the top on it? Where the greens gotta go? Y'all, when you understand the rules of these things and clean and unclean, you really have to dig deep in here to be able to answer these things. But so this is Aaron. Let's go to Melchizedek. Let's give me a whole list, y'all. We're coming right back to this. Want to get right to where we at. Acts 9 and 36. And we're going to come right back to this, y'all, whole list. Because we're going to see a same situation and we ain't seeing no cleansing process. So the water separation has changed to something else. Or this individual who's called an apostle and a disciple, or the Messiah, who the woman with the issue for 12 years touched the hem of his garment. Is he unclean? Is the Messiah unclean? Who gonna answer that? What makes the difference? He was under Aaron until he was crucified. How we explain that? Huh? No, Messianic say we the son of the Most High. Huh? I'm liking what you're saying. You're keeping it going. What you're doing is you're eliminating something by keeping it going.
He was sinless, so he didn't need those sacrifices and those purifications because he was sinless. It was the purifications was only for those ones who had already come under the Levitical priesthood.
Well, how long did the Levitical priesthood run? Because we got him healing the leper, and he said, go do what? Who told you to do? Moses and the law. So that was for a leper. Now we got this woman touching him with a extended menstrual problem. See, hold that. Where was we finna go next?
Acts 9:36.
Before we go there, hold that, y'all. Haggai 2 and 1. Because see, I have to switch the game up when the question come up different. That's right before the New Testament, a couple books before it. Chapter 2, verse 10. See, because we have to make sure we cover this every point to show the difference in what the Messiah was doing. Because he wasn't doing no different than prophets and priests. David did, and the rest of them did. What may seem profane, they're not blameless. I mean, they're blameless for something that was profane. The priest got this opportunity. That's Numbers 28, ain't it? The priests are blameless. They did something on the Sabbath and they're blameless. So, y'all, it was already in Aaron. We got to find the blameless part for the Messiah when this question comes up. Because they're going to ask us. See, if they could point to that, they're going to push you back in Aaron. If you can't point to waters of separation in Melchizedek. That's where our issue lie, y'all. Our issue ain't so much, it's our priesthood. You got half the people want to do the schoolmaster and the other half want to do Melchizedek. The only problem with nobody knows what Melchizedek rules are. Right. Same mountaintop, but we just never looked at Matthew 5 at the Sermon on the Mount of Olives. The same place he say, I'm coming back to. I'm coming back. The same place I left from, that's where I'm going to touch down at. They got groups over there now in Israel camp out on the Mount of Olives. Zechariah 14 say the same thing. The Mount of Olives. Let's get it. Where we at? Well, we going to answer that, bro. Haggai, chapter 2, verse 10. Did I say that right? Ariel, Vanessa.
Haggai.
Haggai. Hey, God.
Hey, God.
Where'd you get that hat? That ain't it. Okay.
Let me know when you get there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. I know we get it.
We're reading in the book of Haggai,
So,
chapter 2, starting at verse 10.
how we looking, y'all? Everybody there? Okay, go ahead, bro.
And it reads, in the 24th day of the 9th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of the Most High by Haggai, the prophet, saying.
See, so everywhere a prophet talks, he must write it down. Isaiah 30:8, Habakkuk 2, Jeremiah 23. So we see everything. So when somebody say, you know, God spoke to me, your next question out of your mouth should be, did you write it down? And watch the difference. Huh? What? Write it down. Them the instructions. If God talked to you, it got to be held as a witness against you. You just can't be talking. How you gonna want your words marked for flesh, but not for spirit?
Right.
You see some boy sneaking in a girl's house every time her mama go to work. Dog, I'm telling you, dog, mark my words. She gonna be pregnant before school starts. What do you think that means? So I write it down. It's summertime, June the 13th. Little Earl says she gonna be pregnant when school starts. Now when school starts, she got the pumpkin belly. What I tell you, dog. What I tell you. You wrote it down right now. But this, the Lord spoke to me and ain't no paperwork. That's a problem, according to these instructions. Go ahead, let's read.
Verse 11. Thus saith the Most High of hosts.
Right.
Ask now the priest concerning the law, saying, if one bear holy flesh in the skirt of his garment, and with his skirt do touch bread, or pottage, or wine, or oil, or any meat, shall it be holy? And the priest answered and said, no.
See, this is a question they're going to bring up about the Messiah. Touching dead bodies, raising the dead, touching a woman who had an infirmity for 12 years. If he's that holy, and they ask the priest, is that going to make him unclean if he touched something unclean? What they answer?
No.
Go ahead, let's read some more.
Verse 13. Then said Haggai, if one that is unclean by a dead body touch any of these, shall it be unclean? And the priest answered and said, it shall be unclean.
So we got an issue here between 12 and 13. It's saying just a natural touch. No, if he got holy on it, no. So we kind of got an answer for touching the hem of his garment. Now we got to deal with the dead body. And we got to deal with verse 14 of being in the room with a dead body. We got this answer. Go ahead, let's read some more.
Verse 14. Then answered Haggai and said, so is this people, and so is this nation before me, saith the Most High, and so is every work of their hands, and that which they offer there is unclean.
So we got, when you continue to read this story, this is about Zerubbabel, what he said, I'm going to set him up to go back and get the new temple cleaned up. You can also see a lot of this in Sirach 49 that breaks down Zerubbabel. So for anybody thinking Zerubbabel is going to be the Messiah, sadly mistaken. Because he out of the line of Jehoiakim, who Matthew 1 say, burn the scrolls of the Most High. Nobody of his seed could sit on the throne ever again. If Christ came from Joseph's line, Joseph in that line. No king could sit on the throne. Was Joseph sitting on the throne? Was he?
No.
Okay. That's why it came around through the other boys, through Nathan in Luke 3, down to Mary. Because Zerubbabel, it's two different Zerubbabels in here. One, the grandfather is this person. One, the grandfather is this person. Right. Unless they got a different name. Where we at? Read some more.
Verse 15. And now I pray you, Consider from this day and upward, from before a stone was laid upon a stone in the temple of the Most High.
So we can hold up. What I wanted y'all to do is focus on the priest, how they answer if something clean touches something unclean. And dead body game came up again and they said, no. I mean, yes, he would be unclean if he touched a dead body, if a holy man touched a dead body. So y'all, we have to be able to get prepared for Israelites, our own people that don't believe in the Messiah. They are going to bring you these scriptures and then ask you about that. And look, he wasn't crucified yet. So what order was he under? Because they're going to point to him telling the man that he cured of the leprosy. Now go do what Moses said. Take 2 turtle doves, get down there, so it ain't going to be no problem with these Levites. I mean, these modern day Pharisees and Sadducees saying I did some off record of the prophecy. Go just do what he said. Right. But you cured, buddy. You ain't got to go back to the priest no more, like in Leviticus 13. You ain't got to go back for a checkup. This it, partner, you good. Just go do what they say so we don't get no fat mouth. It's the same way with the woman caught in adultery. They wanted to see what he was going to do. What a man. He didn't let her off the hook. He said, just go and sin no more. Because the law say you can't put nobody to death without 2 witnesses. So he had to tell her, but he still let her know. You got off by the skin of your teeth. Melchizedek on his way in. Because mercy just gave you a second chance.
Exactly.
Go, don't sin no more.
That was the Melchizedek, though.
That was that Melchizedek coming in.
Because they was ready to brick her.
Right. Look, y'all, we practicing Melchizedek now. Y'all, we can't just show up at the kingdom and think Melchizedek just gonna come all over. I'm getting a feeling. What is it? You gotta practice this, because if you don't, when you see somebody walk, if you make it.
Right, if.
Man, is that the dude that did that, man? He was, what he doing in here? If you got that mindset. But if you don't have that mindset and you're in the kingdom, when you see somebody, it's going to be, brother, sister. Look, who's dead ain't going to come to mind. When you looking at how I barely got through there, the righteous shall scarcely be saved. The least of your thought is who didn't make it. If my mama didn't make it, that thought ain't coming in there. What you got, brother?
It's always an if-then statement with the Most High. If, like Joshua 1:1-9, if you keep the law, statutes, commandments, if you meditate on this day and night, then I'm going to do this when you're going to be prosperous throughout the land.
Right.
But it's if then, so we have responsibilities that we have to do. And if you meditate on it day and night, Israel, keep it in your heart, in your spirit, in your mind, then I got you.
Faith without works is dead, what you're saying. You got to have the both parts. Meditate and believe. Yes, sir.
I like that if and then.
Yeah.
If then.
Yeah.
See, we can't go off of other ifs. The Lord don't do fear ifs.
No. He give us spirit.
He give you straight commandment. Try me and see. Find in the scripture where somebody kept my law and I did them wrong.
Right.
Find that. It ain't them ifs. See, we listen to people, philosophers. Man, but what if he's really a woman?
Yeah.
What if your aunt had testes, she be your uncle? Don't get caught up in it.
Yeah.
If you keep the law, this don't happen. Keep your mind there.
Yeah.
If they drag you into the what ifs, think on it. Just think about, come on now. Most people would go, I'm not most people. I'm set apart.
You see that before to the left or to the right.
Ask me about set apart things and I can answer those clearly. But you're asking me about how the world was created and you thinking it came from a big bang. All big bangs I've seen lead destruction. Not bringing back together. Where we at?
You want that Acts?
Yeah, let's get that Acts 9, y'all, because we saw that at 19 of y'all, and I'm gonna speed this up because we into the right, we got about half hour, y'all, so I want to speed this up. Acts 9, because we saw Numbers 19 and 14, anybody in the room, anything in the room. So y'all have to think about that. If we go strictly off of Aaron, y'all have to leave whatever's uncovered in the hospital room or in the room where this person died. Yo, we bring, hospice is a new thing to us, or the rehab center where they call you up there to die. We didn't do that back in the day. Come in the 70s, your friends come over, it was a hospital bed in the living room, and Big Mama was on it. But she wasn't going to no rehab center where her room smelled like tomcats been pissing all night. She was in the living room. Hey, Miss Big Mama. Hey, Miss Big Mama. Until she left this earth.
Right.
Yeah. But we can't be like the script about be Corbin. Don't do for your mother and father like the script say. Honor thy mother and father, 5th commandment. Okay, I'm on point. Yeah, but you say it's Corbin. You think you can stick your mother in a nursing home and don't go back to see and think the Lord gonna take care of that? I got it in the best one. They make sure all the applesauce ain't got no lumps in it.
But they give it hell lumps.
No, yeah, right, absolutely, boy. Absolutely, boy. But we do that like that's a gift of the Most High. What I did that for, no. Because the law talks about a widow and a mother and the fatherless, how we supposed to bring them back in home and make sure if both of y'all work, it's understood. But somebody got to be up there checking. If she had to go here, because some things you can't maintain. But somebody got to make it. They did a sacrifice had to be made to go check. Who got a question? Go ahead, say.
You said honoring the mother and father, 5th commandment.
Yeah.
Is there an order in scripture that we're supposed to keep that on a commandment, or can you go after it? I mean,
Sirach 4 breaks it down. Read the 4th chapter. That's really good on honoring our mother and our father. Even tell you about when your father get old, if his mind started to slip. You know, take it all in. Anybody that go against his father and dishonor him in his old age, he gonna have sin on him for the rest of his life.
Straight up.
And then you get into that same 4th chapter, jump over to the 27th verse, the 7th chapter, or 27th verse, I believe it is. It said again, honor thy mother and thy father. Y'all have to truly understand that there's a line you can't cross. I don't care if they never get it. There's a line you can't cross. Right. Since when y'all birth certificate got the same date on it?
Right.
This like David. The Lord said to my Lord, sit thou on my right hand. This is why Revelation 5 says, I'm the root and the offspring of David. How David gonna call me Lord and I came from him? Your son, you gonna call him Lord? My Lord, will you take out the trash? My Lord, have you cleaned up your room? My Lord, will you get up and go to school and get an education? You ain't gonna do it. What? You still in here? Wait till I come back. Be in that dead when I come back.
What'd you say, Dad? Kings have princes.
That's right.
And then that prince become a king. After
That's
that
right.
king go away, and then he have princes.
That's right.
2 kings in the same household like that.
No, David did never worship Solomon.
Yeah.
Or talk to Solomon like that.
Yeah.
Solomon listened to his mother in what is it? The virtuous woman. Proverbs 31. That was Solomon's mom. My son.
Not give your strength over to a wicked woman.
I'm gonna give you some instructions about women. Don't ever give the thigh up.
Straight up, that's true.
And y'all, we're gonna hit just a couple thighs and we're gonna get out of here and understand in the Most High's name when he come back in Revelation 19, his name is on his thigh. Y'all have to understand what caused us to fall has to be seen in righteousness, and the covenant has to be made with the thigh in righteousness, so it don't come back void. There still have to be children born in the kingdom. That's why 1 Corinthians 15:51 say, those that are alive and remaining get to experience Isaiah 4. But everybody else that died when you're resurrected, there's no marriage for you. You like sisters and brothers. You like the angels. Are you filling the third back up? But Israel or this people have to produce children,
Right.
in righteous manner in the new kingdom, which is nothing more than a rehab Garden of Eden.
That's all it is.
A supernatural kingdom. Y'all think this was like they trying to show us like the Garden of Eden was Grant's phone?
Right.
On the front of the watchtower, and they showing you this, and that don't look like nothing Revelation 21 saying. I don't see no streets of gold. I don't see no woolly hurt man with chill. What is this? Where we at, bro? Acts
9.
Acts 9:36, y'all. We're gonna speed this up real quick. How long have I been saying that, sis?
For last past hour.
Okay. Acts 9:36. Y'all, and this backing up the Numbers 19, y'all, and this how you have to go down the law to make sure nobody ain't got you tormented in there. And y'all have to understand, people were tormented. Some people, we got a sister down here, she work at the funeral home. Could she ever be clean? We got people that's nurses and doctors. You know how many people die around them every day?
Straight up.
If you use iron on them, they got to quit their job.
Straight up.
What they gonna do then? Live with you? A bunch of doctors and nurses show up. Is this the house of quitting your job?
I just let you know though, Dan. We couldn't stay up under urn. Couldn't stay up under urn.
Where we at? 9:36. Is that what we said?
The book of Acts, chapter 9, starting at verse 36. And it reads, Now there was at Joppa a certain disciple named Tabitha, which by interpretation is called Dorcas. This woman was full of good works and alms deeds, which she did.
So a double name here. Dorcas in the Hebrew, Tabitha in the Greek. Saying a double name for the same woman. A lot of times people say, well, names can't cross transliteration or something. It will mean something else. We got Revelation 9. The beast in the bottomless pit. In the Hebrew tongue is called what? In the Greek tongue, he called who?
Apollyon.
If you say, man, Apollyon showed up, you like, you didn't say it. You don't have to say it in Hebrew. What Apollyon you talking about? The one in the bottomless pit, man. Revelation 17 and opened up on his dog. Revelation 9 then opened up, dog. That one. So I know what beast of the bottomless pit you're talking about. The name and the event must match. When you say this, if those scriptures work, then I know what individual you're talking about. Man, Black Robert was looking for you the other day. Man, you know Black Robert. Man, I know 3 Black Roberts. Black Robert at the tire shop. Oh, that Black Robert. There's so many Yeshuas in the Bible. Let's read.
Verse 37.
What it say?
And it came to pass in those days that she was sick.
That she was what?
That she was sick. And died.
And died. She dead.
She died.
Let's get it.
Whom when they had washed, they laid her in an upper chamber.
So somebody got her ready for the wake. They washed her and she on display in the upper room. Right? Or am I reading this wrong?
That's right.
Let's read some more.
Verse 38. And for as much as Lydda was nigh to Joppa, and the disciples had heard that Peter was there, they sent unto him 2 men, desiring him that he would not delay to come to them.
See, 2 again, y'all gonna always see a minimum of 2. Always when it comes down to this. Satan gonna try to get 1. If he can get 2, that's a double up. If he can get an innocent on this word, trying to get it in a crazy man drive-by shoot, he killed him and then he go to penitentiary for the rest of his life. 2 for 1. Go ahead.
Verse 39. Then Peter arose and went with them. When he was come, they brought him into the upper chamber.
So where did they bring him into?
The upper chamber.
Numbers 19:14. If you be in the same tent, what you saying? Say it loud. Yeah, where the dead body was. That's where they brought him to. Come on, see the dead body, man. In the room, in the tent. Go ahead, let's read some more.
And all the widows stood by him weeping, and showing the coats and garments which Dorcas made while she was with them.
See, they showing like we do a memorial. Man, it's the coat he gave me. Oh, this. Man, let me have this, man. He gone. They showing off things. They in the room. Now, if they showing off them things in the room, those things are unclean. Who you gonna give them to? Man, go on, take that. Don't take that silk and unclean garment. Let's read some more.
Verse 40. But Peter put them all forth and kneeled down.
What'd he do?
He kneeled down and prayed, and turning him to the body said, Tabitha, arise. And she opened her eyes. And when she saw Peter, she sat up.
Now, most of us would have a Three Stooges hole in the wall if a dead person just sat up. Hey, baby, you gonna get out of that. But she sat up. He just told her he didn't know. Everybody get out. But the first thing he did is he washed with the water of the word. He prayed. Lord, I'm about to take this on. Mark 16, I'm asking for help right here. Hold on, let's get some Mark 16. We're coming right back to this. Just Mark 16, y'all. We got to so I line this up so you understand the waters of separation that you're going to see throughout the New Testament. Y'all, prayer is our weapon. What you going to do with any, you're going to show off your guns, and Kim Jong-un got 2 nuclear missiles. You showing me a street sweeper from Mike Guns and a 2 kiloton nuclear warhead. If it drop in Kansas City, we got 30 minutes to get your paperwork in order. 30 minutes before the radiation get here, and that's just a 2 kiloton. And a 2 kiloton equals 250 of what they dropped on knocking your socks off in Hiroshima. One this big, the size of a thermos, is equal to 200 of the big boy and the fat boy they dropped on Japan. Y'all have to truly think about that. That's thermonuclear war that they have now. That was hydrogen. That was like water baptism. On the flip side, thermonuclear is like the Holy Spirit with power and fire, but it's on the righteous side. Those things are on the wicked side. One is decreasing and one is elevating. They're using thermonuclear now. Yo, if everybody launched thermonuclear, it'd be just like Matthew 24, except no flesh be saved. This got to end right now. Let's get it. Where we at?
So you want to go to Mark 16?
Yeah, Mark 16. Thank you, bro. Right where he said to the disciples, anything unclean. 16. Verse 16. Yes, sir. I tell you what, bag it up. 14. Okay, we started 14. And y'all, and this is what we're going to see. The belief of the water separation. Y'all have to understand, the water separation for y'all is belief. It separates us from the unbelievers. If you don't feel, y'all, what we gonna do here in America? You don't own nothing. Your face ain't on no money. Show up in any bank with some Lou Rawls $20 bill and see what happens.
The roof is bugged.
Yeah, the roof is bugs. Oh, no, Zamunda only spinning Zamunda. Let's get it.
Mark chapter 16, verse 14.
What it say?
Afterward, he appeared unto the 11 as they sat at meat, and upbraided them with their unbelief and hardness of heart, because they believed not.
Because they did what?
Because they believed not them which had seen him after he was risen.
He like, look, all I did for y'all, walked on water. Y'all saw me feed the 1,000. Y'all saw everything. Y'all raised the dead. Y'all did that, and when I came back, that was too much for y'all. Boy, y'all, what is it about this people, Israel? Y'all believe Tupac alive before me. Y'all saw Elvis, but when it come down to the Messiah, and y'all was with me.
Right. Right.
Let's read some more. Look, we say we seen all of our dead relatives. My mama came to me last night. Let's get it.
Verse 15. And he said unto them, go ye into all the world.
Into what?
Into all the world.
And
preach the gospel to every creature.
Some people.
Every creature.
Just the people I like.
Every creature.
Okay.
He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned. And these signs shall follow them that believe.
See, here we got miracles again, just like in the Old Testament. Yo, it ain't the law that don't manifest miracles. Priesthood change. He told Moses the same thing. Pick up that staff and watch what it's going to do. Throw it down and watch this. Put your hand in your bosom and pull it back out. I'm talking about, I'm going to send 10 plagues on them. One going to be darkness. I'm talking about, it said the darkness was thick. How do you feel darkness?
Matter.
What you got in your hand? Some darkness?
Some darkness.
Thick darkness. No light. It's like a bottomless pit.
You down there forget you exist in that type of darkness.
Boy, how you gonna fall in a bottomless pit and it's thick darkness? You're waiting for the bottom to finally hit.
It's bottomless.
But you just keep up, but ain't no bottom.
Oh man.
What you gonna come up out of?
I can't even imagine.
Don't imagine it, bro. Let's read some more.
Verse 17. And these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name shall they cast out devils.
No, that's a problem. Demons? Messing with demons? But you're casting them out. Like David did. David cast the demons out of Saul. We ain't talking about nothing different. Y'all get a guitar and go to the crazy house. And I don't want to use that term. Y'all forgive me for that. But go to somebody that's talking out of their head with a guitar and see if you can drive that demon from them. Because you're going to have those that say that the disciples can do this and Paul gave out a handkerchief for this and that. What about David? What notes was he hitting on that guitar after Saul threw a javelin right at him and he did like this and it nicked his ear and hit the wall? What y'all think the term music soothes or what? Let's get some more.
They shall speak with new tongues. They shall take up serpents. And if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover.
See, this comes with true belief. This don't come with that Acts 8 with that sorcerer.
Yeah.
Who said the demons even knew. Paul, we know. Yahushua, we know. Who are you?
Who the hell is you?
He's like, man, I was with them dudes, man. They're like, okay, we're gonna play with them dudes now. And they leaped on it. Now, do y'all think every time you watch a Catholic movie the priest always get leaked on. And the demons throw him out the window and kill him. Satan can't uphold Satan, is dividing his own house. How you gonna cast Satan out of Satan? Right. So in like manner, the disciples say, you losing your mind. You can't buy the gift of this. You finna die right now. He's like, oh, please pray for me. Pray with the weapon that the Most High heard, prayer. Y'all, when the popos get our children and lock them up, what you gonna do? Ain't no money. You're 2 months behind on rent. Cardinal people looking for you. And he done got locked up. Bail 2,000. Might as well be 2 million. It's the same difference. Let's read some more.
Verse 19.
What it say?
So then, after the Lord had spoken unto them, he was received up unto heaven and sat on the right hand of Yahweh.
So, y'all, when they don't believe y'all ain't got to get mad at your relatives. Y'all see the disciples, after all and what he allowed them to do, still this hard-headed people, y'all. I'm talking about hard-headed so y'all understand it like Bo King Woodbine and Jason Lyrics. That kind of hard-headed.
Yeah, dude was hard-headed, boy. Yeah, he was hard-headed.
Rod, you know what I'm talking about, huh, Rod? Yes, sir. Okay, so we can hold that. Now go right to why we're doing Acts 28. Who got a question? Acts 28, because it said you should take up serpents. And we're going to see if this works. If the waters of separation of belief. Acts 28.
We starting at?
Start right there, brother. Let me get there. Well, Paul was shipwrecked. Oh, right there, 1 then. Let's get on down to it. 1. 28:1, y'all. We're just going to read this. We're going to finish up the numbers, y'all. We're going to close out. I'm going to just give y'all the other scripts on the board. Who got it?
Reading in the book of Acts, chapter 28, we'll be starting at verse 1.
What it say?
And it reads, I got some pages left.
Okay.
Everybody there?
Yeah.
All right. Verse 28:1.
What it say?
And when they were escaped, then they knew that the island was called Melita. And the barbarous people showed us no little kindness.
Now, these are barbarians. What did they show them?
No little kindness.
What's the opposite of no little kindness?
Kindness.
Big kindness. Y'all see, we look at that like they was treated us wrong. They showed us no little kindness. Listen to how the language right, or how it's recorded. They showed us no little kindness. So the only opposite of that is big kindness. Mm-hmm. And we're going to see the big kindness. And it's saying these are barbarians. These are people that's supposed to don't know what fire is. Scratching their rear end and eating. Barbarians. Let's get it.
And the barbarous people showed us no little kindness, for they kindled a fire.
What they do?
They kindled a fire.
See, the first thing they did, they made a fire for the shipwrecked victims. You're going to need warmth, ain't you? Go ahead.
And received us every one because of the present rain and because of the cold.
See, it's cold and it's rain. And these are people who's supposed to be dumb as curly stooges. Show you no little kindness. And we can't love our brother that we see every day in the same fold. How you gonna do it? Let's get some more.
Verse 3. And when Paul had gathered a bundle of sticks and laid them on the fire, there came a viper out of the heat and fastened on his hand.
You see that? A viper, cobra, venom, and fastened on his hand. Y'all, it was locked on there. You could see it. And y'all, venom from a poisonous from a viper, 30 minutes. And what it does is it turns your blood into gel so it can't flow.
Yep. So down your nervous system too.
Yeah, and your nervous system. Everything get weighed at that point. And it turns your blood into gel. are like gummy bears. It can't circulate at that point. And when it latched on to him, but we had some Mark 16, didn't we? You think Paul believed that at this point? Let's see what Paul did. Go ahead.
Verse 4.
What it say?
And when the barbarians saw the venomous beast hang on his hand, they said among themselves, no doubt, this man is a murderer, whom, though he had escaped the sea, yet vengeance suffereth not to live.
See, because we knew about murder. Numbers 35, you dealt with a person that was charged with murder. They used to put him in a spot that where couldn't nobody get to him until he had his trial. So they thought Paul was in that like manner. He had a problem and he was running from being a murderer like Cain. They said the mark of Cain on him. Look, the sea didn't get him, but that beast got him. He escaped the sea, but he can't escape that cobra. That cobra got him. Let's see what else happened. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And he shook off the beast into the fire. He shook off the beast into the fire and felt no harm.
Go ahead.
Howbeit, they looked when he should have swollen or fallen down dead suddenly. But after they had looked a great while and saw no harm come to him.
Look, they looked a great while. They're like, no, that same snake we've been trying to catch, that done killed 20 people in the village. He gonna fall in a minute, y'all.
Right, they waiting on him to drop.
Just keep watching.
They ain't gonna watch it.
Go ahead.
And saw no harm come to him. They changed their mind.
What they do?
They changed their mind and said that he was a god.
See, now they changed it to the point they say he got to be a god. No, he was God-like.
Yeah.
At this point, because he had the Holy Ruach in him. He was an apostle. He had a visitation from a supernatural event on the road to Damascus. Y'all have to understand, Paul was a magna cum laude in the law, but he didn't believe in the Messiah. It was a waste of time. Except his righteousness exceed the righteousness of the Pharisees, you have no part in the kingdom. So y'all, another messianic wanting us to come together. Somebody ain't gonna have no part in the kingdom. We just got to get down to it, and that's Israel first.
Straight up.
To the Jew first, and then the Gentile. Let's read some more.
Verse 7. In the same quarters were possessions of the chief man of the island, whose name was Publius, who received us and lodged us 3 days courteously.
See, the script say lodge a stranger. Y'all done seen riding up down the highway lodging, $19.99 a night. It don't say live here for $19.99 a night.
No, don't do it.
It's lodge a stranger. Put them up for the weekend so they can keep going. You can't get to the point where you're happy to see them leave.
Right.
Y'all can't stay another day. That's what you want to hear. Come on, y'all. When you got to be back at work? You ain't got to be back to Thursday. Man, we got to go, man. Thank you. Lodge a stranger.
Right. You can lodge here, not stay here.
But when you open them doors up and say that's your room right there, it must be some rules established. One king in the house.
Yeah.
Can't have 3 kings in here. One king. I call the shot. Y'all with that? One queen. You can't have it no other way. If you do, you're in a compound. What's the matter, Boofy? Let's get it.
Verse 8. And it came to pass that the father of Publius lay sick of a fever and of a bloody flux.
And a what?
Of a bloody flux. To whom Paul entered in and prayed and laid his hands on him and healed him.
Do y'all see the gifts that this man had? He healed it and he laid his hands on it. I'm talking about a flux, y'all. Pus leaking. A flux. Any of y'all ever had tetanus? To get that hat made out of a t-shirt.
The tennis cap.
That tennis cap. That's flux coming out of your head. Somebody see you, man? Is that pus coming out of your head?
Bumps of wickedness.
Bumps of wickedness. Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 9. So when this was done, others also, which had diseases in the island, came and were healed, who also honored us with many honors. And when we departed, they laded us with such things as were necessary.
Yo, see this? This is what the power of the Spirit does for you. But see, this is a light and this is a power. This is going to be manifest in you if that Spirit is in you. These are the signs going to follow you. Yo, so we have to understand these. The Sadducees didn't believe in the supernatural. And the Pharisees didn't either if it didn't benefit them. Yo, we're going to speed this up. What time is it now? What time we got, y'all?
It's 4:25.
You might as well quit saying
5 minutes, okay. Y'all going to wrap this on up.
Somebody quit saying that, man.
Well, I meant 2,098 seconds plus. Just give me this real quick. Sirach 34. We're going to park for y'all. We're going to hit these last two, y'all. We out here. I want to get on the 5. I was going to get Numbers 5, but I'm going to give y'all that homework for yourself. And that's about this relationship. If a man feels his wife committed a trespass against him, it's the same manner. And when the spiritual side, when the Messiah feels we've been a trespass against him. Ezekiel 16, y'all, we were some dirty dogs.
Yeah, we were.
And he told us how he dressed us out, just like the priest. He said, I put this on you. If y'all think why we like gators and different things like that, see, but our mind gets so corrupted. We'll talk about pig and everything like this, but we wear gators. Alligator clean?
Not to eat.
Not to eat.
Thank you. Y'all understand what y'all just said? Not to eat. You can't touch his carcass for food. Why? Because guess what? Fur covers the Ark of the Covenant. The badger skin. It's waterproof. But a badger's out of the weasel family. What is that on the Ark of the Covenant? You can't eat badger though. But when you get into that Ezekiel 16 and 23, when they talk about how he brought us out and nursed us up, and then when the time of love came, he spread forth his covering over, and I put this on you, I put badger skin shoes on your feet. Y'all ain't no questions why we like gators and dangerous animal shoes. It's in our DNA.
Dangerous animal shoes.
Gators and lizards and snakes.
Snake skin. Meat coats.
Boy. Yeah, well, we get right to it right after this. After this, Sirach. Sirach 34, verse 19. Y'all read that Numbers 5. Y'all write that down. Match that up with Ephesians 5:26, because both of them are talking about marriage and the problems in marriage. Back it up. Ephesians 5 on down 22 down to 26, especially. They come back together through the washing of the word. The same waters of separation you're going to read about in Numbers 5. Because if men bring up a bad accusation against a woman, no, she messed around on me, they would give her the water to drink. If her thigh didn't rock or her belly didn't swell, guess who they got on? That man's head. Oh, partner.
You lied.
You lied.
You lied.
You lied. And when priests looking at you in a stack of stones, it's right there, they hollering, you lying. What you got, bro? Go ahead.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
They say you gave them homework.
Yes, sir.
What they supposed to be reading?
They're supposed to read Numbers 5, all of Ephesians 5th chapter, and 1 Corinthians 7. That tie in that water separation under the order of Aaron versus marital problems in 1 Corinthians 7 and Ephesians 5.
Gotcha.
And you see the difference in the water of separation, because there has to be some belief there. If one have an unbeliever that's dwelling with him, and they be pleased to dwell with him, they're not stopping you from being a believer.
Right. Right.
But if that unbeliever say, I just can't take it no more. Y'all don't do nothing in this. Y'all live a square life, a square life.
Yeah. F your God. Oh, you got to go.
You got to go.
Get the hell out now.
You can get out of here. Get going. DEDADO. There to go. Where we at?
Ecclesiasticus, verse 34, verse 16.
What it say? Start at 16 we want?
That's what you
You
said.
said 19.
I said 19. Uh-huh. You said we started 18.
Yep.
Where we at?
No, we getting it. Let's get it.
Ecclesiasticus, Sirach,
Start at 18.
18.
I got 19 on the board. It's all good.
Yes, yeah.
Verse 18.
Yes, sir.
He that sacrificed of a thing wrongfully got,
Uh-huh.
his offering is ridiculous.
What is his offering?
Ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
And the gifts of an unjust man are not accepted. The Most High is not pleased with the offerings of the wicked. Neither is he pacified for sin by the multitude of sacrifice.
You wasting your time just sacrificing it out. If you and Aaron talking about what you doing, you rocking your friends, you ain't mentioned nothing about the Holy Spirit that calls things to remembrance. What makes you think calls you to remember to put your fringes on? Let's get started.
Verse 20. Whosoever bringeth an offering of the goods of the poor does as one that killeth the son before his father's eyes.
And we kind of explained that like a dope dealer in the neighborhood selling heroin and all the crack, got everybody turn out and then give out turkeys on Thanksgiving. What you doing to the poor? You gonna give them a turkey for all of the rent money they got, no lights, gas on, and nothing, children just eating whatever's left on the floor? And you gonna give them a turkey? Let's get some more.
The bread of the needy is their life. He that defrauded him thereof is a man of blood. He that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him. And he that defraudeth the labor of his hire is a bloodshedder. When one buildeth, another pulleth down. What profit have they then but labor?
See, this is why we have to be together, y'all. If half of us doing something, the other half pulling us down, it's all labor at that point. Ain't no riches. It's basically you saying I done hustled backwards. Y'all know what hustling backward is? How you gonna leave the house and come back with less money than you left the house when you going to work? How you gonna explain that when you get back home? They waiting on the money when you get back home. Hold it down, y'all back there. Calm them shorties down. Let's get it.
Verse 24.
What it say?
When one prayeth and another curseth, whose voice will the Elohim hear? He that washeth himself after the touching of a dead body, if he touch it again, what availeth his washing?
So this is the point right here. If you touch a dead body and you go wash yourself and then you touch it again, what availeth of the washing? Basically, it's talking about the same body.
Right.
It said, and go touch it again. What did you wash yourself about? You wasting time here. You're praying. It's like the Messiah say, when you pray, you can't ask amiss. How you gonna pray and be questioning too? And Lord, I know you the Father of everything, but you know, I ain't been good. And you know, if you can just see your way to let me have it, you're asking amiss. You don't believe. You're hoping it just show that worked. No, that ain't gonna work. Your prayer have to be serious. That's why he have us hold our hands up. Like a child hold his hands up to his parents. Pick me up. Pick me up. I need to talk to you. I need you to hold me in your bosom and talk to me. There's some trouble around here. Talk to me. Everybody got to have their own personal relationship with the Father. Like everybody, when you got multiple children, each one of them talk to you differently. You love all of them, but you have to understand it's one that do right. You got a prodigal son somewhere. But if he come back, guess what? We killed the fatted calf. Let's read some more.
Verse 26. So is it with a man that fasteth for his sins and goeth again and doeth the same. Who will hear his prayer? Or what does his humbling profit him?
See, you're wasting your time. Who you think you fooling? The Most High? Y'all know that ain't gonna work. That's why he says it's ridiculous when you do it from that perspective, y'all. We just gonna hit this last one. Y'all got that Numbers 5, that Ephesians 5, 1 Corinthians 7. Y'all understand the washing of the water by the word on that one. And just gonna hit this thigh real quick. Hit that 34:9. Go hit this Revelation 19. And I'm just gonna give y'all the other one of thigh oath. When you understand the thigh oath, and when you hear Proverbs 31, when Solomon's mother was telling him, don't give your strength over to a woman or different things like that, or the charge, so to speak. Y'all have to understand this is a marriage covenant, a holy and spiritual marriage covenant. Yeah. And this is what it's talking about. So when she said give your strength outside the marriage covenant, you can't let the wife get 51%. That can only be the man. Yeah. The highest is 49 for them. 50-50 is roommate. 50-50 is only in your duty. To the woman, do this. To the man, do that. That's 50-50 that make one. But there has to be a head of household. Yep. There have to be 51%. I'm not saying he may not know how to pay the bills, but he still got to know when you explain it to him, no, we're going to pay this, we're going to do this over there. And he got to be thinking wise enough. That makes sense. For the well-being of the family. If something happened to the family, he can't blame it on her. Man, I can't believe, man, you hear that nigga let them come in the house like that on her, man, and made her go to the door.
That sound, boy.
3 o'clock in the morning, she comes.
Go to the door, baby.
Get the sound crazy head. Get that baby, that may be Ray right now.
That sounds crazy.
Now she can get it if she'll drag it and snap the door. What the hell y'all want? They like nothing now. But that's gonna be a problem for you. So sick of you. You remind me of Ahab. Did we finish that?
No, we didn't even get it. Revelation 19.
Yeah, Revelation 19.
No, I want you to hit 5. Hebrew 34:9. We're going right there because brother have to leave. Y'all, we're gonna hit this and wrap it up. I want to hit this Revelation 19 though, but I'm gonna give you a few oaths that y'all will just write down. Okay. Oaths of the thigh. And what it means, y'all, is to a man, word is bond. Your strength, your loin area, that's all you have to put on you. If you don't have any money, you put it on your offspring. Yeah. Your power, your stature, your heritage.
Loin region.
Your loin region. This is the part that they made aprons to cover themselves. Exactly. If they ate an apple, it'd have been like this up in there. Yeah.
It wasn't like that. It was covering up loin areas. Make sense?
So we're talking about bringing that back to the righteous fold. Peter talked about it. Gird up your loins, be sober up here. Gird up the loins of your mind. Your mind is what make your flesh work. Make your flesh work, either spiritually or in wickedness. But it comes from here, your hard drive. That's what they come for when they come from your computer, your cell phone. What were you thinking? How you didn't kill her and you on Walmart how to kill somebody on Google? You'd have been to Walmart walking down the aisle, you got tape, lime, and a shovel. What you mean it ain't what you think? We're talking about what you're thinking. Duct tape, lime, and a shovel. And you got on her pages how to get away with murder. But it's us got you pegged wrong. Where we at, bro? Go ahead.
You're a witness against yourself at that time.
Yes, sir.
Thighs, 8:3409. Y'all right? Thigh, side, loin, base,
Loin, huh?
thigh, outside of thigh, where sword was worn, loin as the seat of protective power.
Yo, what?
Of protective power.
The seat of protective power.
There it is.
See, the promises don't happen unless there's loin warfare.
Yep.
And y'all, we try not to get graphic as we can. We got children in here, but this is a graphic book because it's about life. It lets you know, don't nothing happen with multiplying unless the man is ready.
Exactly.
And not to say that, so I don't go off base with this, you have to understand where it's at, where the power is at. Unless we get supernatural.
Right.
And where things happen on the supernatural. And if you don't think it's supernatural, we got things on this earth that do it supernatural.
Yeah.
Y'all look up this, another homework. Parthenogenesis.
Yeah. Even with the Messiah and us, for the marriage, it was a blood covenant.
PAR. Parthenogenesis. Somebody Google that for me, make sure I'm spelling it right. I know how to spell Genesis. Parthenogenesis is the form of female or anything that the male copulates without coming together like that. And if it can happen in the animal world, what are we crying about? Did Adam have an umbilical cord?
No.
Did it? No. Right, so what was he born of? How you got a problem with the virgin birth and you don't with Adam being born a virgin of? How you gonna believe that miracle, but this one you say no? And this one is correcting that one.
Right.
You can't believe it, no, that miracle, no.
And New Testament, I'm Torah based. Let's go back to Genesis then.
Let's go back to Genesis. Who was Adam's dad? Who walked Eve down the aisle to Adam?
Straight up.
And the angels witnessed that marriage. And that's what I'm talking about, Ron.
No, they don't.
But y'all look up parthenogenesis. If anybody get out there, read it for me. Look it up in the dictionary. Where we at? What you got? Go ahead.
From an unused root, meaning to be soft. The thigh, from its fleshly softness. By euphemism, the generative parts. Figuratively, a shake.
So we know just talking about the commandment. This is why in Ephesians 6:9, when we read about the arm of God, it says, gird your what with truth? Loins of truth. If you're girded there with your truth up here, this up here first girds the loins of your mind with truth. It's going to gird them down there with truth. That's our problem, y'all. That's why we can't love our brother. Our problem is this is a thing that where we hate each other so bad because they taught us to look at each other like enemies.
Yeah.
When you learn this word, the first thing you attack is your people. Your people is your test, though. You got to be a light to who mocks you in the house before you take it to the world. You amongst Jonahs. At least get your training early, like we did. When my father saw me, Jacob, and both. There go the three wise men. Like they told Matt. There go Moses, y'all. Thank you for comparing me to that. Right. You didn't say there go Alistair Crawley. Right. Let's get this Revelation 19.
What?
13. Y'all, we're gonna close out. I'm gonna give y'all them other ones to read on the oaths of the thigh, because your word is your bond. If you ain't got no money, you say, man, my word is my bond. I put this on my children.
That's really
man. That's what the Pharisees did.
Yep.
Our blood be on our strength.
Be on our strength. It's crazy, bro.
And you put the hand under the thigh. Jacob did it with Joseph in Egypt. Hand under the thigh. This is my word. Go ahead, bro. Revelation 19:13. What does it say?
Start at 11.
We can start at 11, bro.
Revelation chapter 19, verse 11.
And I'm gonna give y'all the last three to compare oaths in the script. Go ahead.
And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse.
Okay.
19 say?
19 and 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And
I tell you what, back it up to 9. Right, we ain't gonna do that.
Revelation chapter 19, verse 9. And he said unto me, right, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb.
See, we was told to do what? Write it.
Right.
See, this is an invitation to the wedding. Write them down. Who come? You ain't got on the right wedding garment, you can't get up in there.
Now welcome here.
You're not welcome here. Look, if my mother went off to heaven and she came back to me in a dream and she got on her funeral clothes, she ain't got on the right garments.
Straight up.
Revelation 6 and 9, I saw the souls under the altar. They were given white robes and palms in their hand. If she showed up with a white robe and a leaf in her hand, baby, Lord told me, get yourself together. Oh, we asked, what clothes did she have on? Boy, I had on that outfit I decked out with.
But that wasn't her.
Go ahead.
And he said unto me, these are the true sayings of Yahweh.
Right.
And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant.
See, and this is an angel telling John the Revelator, don't bow down to me. I'm your fellow servant. It's the same thing with Manoah and angels, but the captain of the host, that angel, that one's been getting bowed to in Joshua 5th chapter. Moses bowed to him in a burning bush. Come on, let's really look at Exodus 33. Who was that Moses asked, can I see your glory? You think that was the Father, or was that Isaiah 42, 1 through 4 before you get to verse 8? I don't share my glory with nobody. Who glory would be but the Messiah for the Father? What else glory he got? I mean, other than all the creation, but what represents him? Like
It's
the woman is the glory of the man.
The Messiah.
The man is the glory of the Messiah.
Nobody.
And on and on. So when you read, they try to get you with Isaiah 42 and 8. I share my glory. Have them go back and read 1 through 4.
Straight up.
And see if that's somebody else. Where we at?
Verse 10, part of verse 10 again. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh. Worship Yahweh.
Worship who?
Yahweh. For the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy.
See, the testimony of her spirit of prophecy, you get a freebie of the gifts. Everybody get prophecy. Prophecy comes with belief. When you get this, the prophecy is the Messiah is coming back. Revelations 1. Church tell you don't go in Revelation. And that's kind of scares the people. That's why I don't go there with them. They scared of them beasts and different things. See, but you start off Revelation 1 and 1 through 1 and 3. Blessed is he that what? And understand that. So how you gonna get talked out of a blessing? Right. Don't go in that blessing part. You waiting on the second coming, but you don't want to read about the revealing of the second coming. Let's finish this up, y'all.
Verse 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he does judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew, but he himself.
See, this is the same thing as Zephaniah 3:8. This is a name written that no man knows. But guess where it's written that? On his word. I told y'all, if y'all keep the commandments, y'all got my word. Messiah didn't give us no coins or nothing, did he? No. He said, I'm going to give y'all my word. My word is bond. I gave my father my word. Word is bond. Let's read some more.
And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. And his name was called the Word of Yahweh.
Right.
And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon the white horse.
Right.
Clothed in fine linen, white and clean. and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty God. And he had on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
See, we can hold that. See, this is what's on his thigh. His true name, his word. That's his true name. What he had on his commandment keeping. Which one of these I broke that you ain't gonna bow? Because every knee gonna bow. Point to the thigh and tell me which one of these I broke. Name of my father on my thigh. Word is bond. Get down on your knees. Get down or lay down. The choice is yours. So y'all back that up with Genesis 24:2. We ain't gonna read them of oaths with the thigh. Genesis 47:29. And also James tell us under the Melchizedek order, don't make oaths unless you can back it up. James 5:12. Let your yea be nay. Yea be yea and your nay be nay. Don't start to swear. It starts to tell you don't swear oaths you know you can't keep. Because y'all, we doing a good job at making oaths we can't keep. Yeah. So he tell you just say yeah. Even when you go into court, if they give you the Bible, put your hand on this. Do you swear to tell the truth? I affirm. They're gonna say that's good enough. Because if you say I swear, guess what get on the table? Perjury. Starting out at 5 years. Y'all, our adversaries, the devil ain't playing with you. What? He ain't doing the Quran like this. He ain't doing the Metanetta or dead book of the dead like this and tell you to put your hand on it. And swear. We don't swear. I affirm. I'm going to tell you, affirm means to the best of my ability I can recall what's happening. But I'm not going to swear. If you swear, then they're going to put it on you. Big Mama sell dope, don't she? You're under penalty of perjury. Big Mama, I'm sorry. She a kingpin. But if I affirm, look, I thought it was Social Security. I can't recall that correctly. Y'all write down them scripts, y'all. We're gonna get out of here. We got any announcements before we get out of here. Anybody got any questions, concerns before we get out? What you got, sis?
Sister Felicia.
Hold it down, y'all.
Our camp photographer has put out
Hold it down, y'all.
letter. This is primarily for the sisters, but the brothers are welcome to it. I'm gonna put it over here by the head couple.